And hello, everybody. Welcome to Absolute Sim Racing, and welcome from Zandvoort. We're here for the fourth round of the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy. I'm Ed May. Joining me in the comms box and on the cameras for the evening is the wonderful Dan Hanover. Dan, how the devil are we?
It would actually help if I had my mic turned on. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very, very much there, Ed. I'm excited to be here. Had some, I think just what we'll touch on it, I'm sure, in a bit, but the race that we had last week was fantastic. It was my first experience with British Sim Races and the Tegiwa MX5 trophy, and I was absolutely blown away. And I'm sure this will be the case today.
Yeah, definitely. We come off the back of a wonderful racing evening at Catalonia. I believe as we get into the start of qualifying, we have the championship standings ready to run you through to show what the battle is and what everything is looking like coming out of the third round into the fourth. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen there, Ben Sharp currently leading the way, 1,006 points to his name. 157 points clear of second place, Jason Cooper. That gap has come down though, following last week's action. Jason Cooper picking up 2 race victories that has allowed that margin to close in. Arthur Panzel there in third, Dan Perry fourth, Craig Cockrell in fifth. So the rest there, Tom Griffiths, Nick Postance, James Clark, Anthony Beck, Chris Slater. And as we touched on, Andy McEwen coming into the third round was actually third, but he was unfortunately not showing he was off in London, wasn't there with his sim rig, dropped down into 14th place. But there are drop rounds in the championship, so expect this order to definitely chop and change around in the coming rounds. 12 rounds in total, we're only 4 in, so much more is still to come.
Well, absolutely. I think, to be fair, the 157 points gap that you see there between Sharp and Cooper, I don't think that's definitely not going to stay there, is it? Let's be honest. And as you say, we've got quite a few rounds to go, so there's still going to be plenty of goings on. As you can see, cars in the background, qualifying is actually underway, which we're going to go through in but a few moments' time. But the timing standings are looking very, very close already. This is going to be very, very good fun.
Yeah, really well. And other things to note as well, Ben Sharp's margin at the top of the championship, that might not be there come the end. He was mentioning to us last week that he might miss a couple rounds, maybe even 3 at the end, dealing with, of course, real life racing commitments. He has been sort of engineer mechanic at the various teams, and I think he's going to be going down to Le Mans in August, so that will definitely be him out of action. We're going to wish him all the best. But yeah, there's certainly worse reasons to miss a meeting, that's for sure.
I think that's the thing. Is like I wouldn't mind going to the ball. I've just looked here. What is Arthur Panzer as well? He's having a bit of a battle. I couldn't see who that was out on track, but these guys are trying to find space. It's quite a big track, to be fair. I know that qualifying's only just started. What I said, it's been going for about 5 minutes. Look where everyone is. They're all in the same part of the circuit.
I think that was Craig Cockrell that Arthur Panzer was trying to negotiate and navigate, and we're going to keep talking about this every time we see Arthur Panzer. Go on board with him, and you wouldn't believe it, but he runs the controller, and every time I see him, so as soon as someone told me that, I could not believe it. Look, gets it in, has corrections as if he has force feedback, as if he knows exactly what the car is doing, and it just looks so stable for him. He's currently on the top in qualifying, taking the fastest time at 1 minute 54.2, but that's quickly been taken off by Ben Sharp, who climbs to the top with a 153.8, and those were the sorts of times we were seeing in practice where the top guys are running sort of, I think 153.9 was the fastest time we've seen up until now, so Ben Sharp really bringing out the pace where it counts.
Exactly. Well, look at that, Arthur Panzer. He's actually, I would say he was third for a brief few moments. Now he's back up to second. But again, look at the gap between the top 4. Andy McEwen is in 4th. So he's gone up. Bear in mind, he is in the Pro-Am, so he's getting stuck in. And he's only, less than a 10th away from Ben Sharp. Ben Sharp currently leading the way. Further down the field, though, Craig Cockrell, between himself and Julian Schoer, that's only less than, that's 5, apologies, that's actually, no, it is, 700ths of a second separate Craig Cockrell and Julian Schoer. You've got, I've just had a look at the intervals. I mean, I thought, oh, there's a few people that are sort of under a tenth, but there's actually almost half of the grid by the looks of it if you go further down the field. That is insane, and not everyone's actually set a lap yet.
Yeah, what a massive grid it is. So many drivers taking part in this championship. I think we do have around about 40 car grid again this evening, and it shows that with the sheer amount of cars on track, you'd expect there to be big differences, but look at that. So many times, less than a tenth of a second. You can see time separated by a few thousandths. Craig Cockrell just 4,000 shy of Nick Postance. So it's all really to play for. So many close times. And look at that at the front. Ben Sharp is only just faster than Arthur Panzel and Adam Shepherd. 300ths separating first from second. And that really does bode well for an excellent race. Don't forget, qualifying is what will determine this first race. And then we have the reverse grid spinning wheel for the other 3 races that will come afterwards. So that means that there's plenty of action for you here on Absolute Sim Racing. We're just following Craig Cockrell coming to the end of this flying lap. What can he pull out of the bag? He's hucking up behind the rear end of a car in front. I think that was the 35, I believe. Yep, the 35 just in front. And Craig Cockrell is not able to improve this time by, so we'll have to buy this time and try and go at it another time. Other drivers improving. Stephen Cox up to the top of the AMS there, up in 16th position. Good drive from him so far. And he's an AM driver. Only a second off of our pole sitter. That is very good, a very quick time. And if you still say a second off of some of the top MX5 drivers, that's very quick pace indeed.
I think exactly. You can't complain at all really when you start to when you look at those gaps, especially as you say, to be in an AM category in less or just over a second off currently, who was actually a pro-am that's leading, Nick Clibbins. I didn't realise he's taken top step away from Ben Sharp by about half a tenth, which I didn't actually realise that had happened. So with 6 minutes left to go, I mean, that gap, a tenth of a second is nothing really. That when you say a tenth of a second, actually, I'm almost going to correct myself. A tenth of a second is nothing in the grand scheme of things, although it's so close that these drivers are driving so hard that it may actually be quite difficult to find that tenth. But yeah, Stephen Cox doing very well in the Ross Bucket Racing Team 2, number 87. And it also goes to show the top 16 are within a second. Now the top 16, and then when you look a little bit further down, a bit more of a gap sort of like coming down, but there's still 5 minutes left to qualifying to go. It's going to get even closer, I'm sure.
You find that you can see in real life a lot of motorsport disciplines struggle to have even the top 5 within a second of one another. So to see this out here at Zandvoort bodes very well, as all very wide goes Stephen Cox. That could be a 1x, that could be an invalidation of his lap time, but he'll still be able to go around again with 5 minutes still to go in this qualifying session. Of course, if drivers come across the line before the 15 minutes are up, they can finish the lap they're on, even if the timer ticks over that sort of session window time. So could see some late changes of position. We know that some drivers do like to leave it late in qualifying to put their faster times in, get the bank laps in early, and then with nothing left to lose, just go absolutely all out. Nick Clibbins, though, what an all-out drive it's been from him, currently, like you mentioned, at the top of the qualifying standings. And there's other drivers as well. There's a newcomer here, Pino Kroveld. He's doing well for himself, up into second place in the AM category in the 88 Tech car, with the orange trim this time, so you can definitely tell the drivers apart a little bit easier. I do like it when teams are able to sort of allow us commentators to distinguish between drivers, because sometimes, well, it's not as easy as when you're actually trackside and you can see the numbers a bit clearer.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's nice being able to have that sort of differentiation for, as you say, for us as commentators, we can start to see really sort of what's going on. And yeah, it just gives us a bit more of an opportunity. Again, looking further afield, I am genuinely staggered at how close it is. I'm looking at the sector times, though. No one's putting in personal best. No one's putting in the session best lap time. So Nick Clibbins, as it stands, is in a pretty good position here. He doesn't really need to push. I'm sure he will be pushing at the moment, but he doesn't need to push anymore realistically with the position that he's in.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily need to, but you could be sure that he wants to, don't you? He knows that he'll want to try and get the most out of his car at any opportunity he gets, as we see James Neve pulling off into the pit lane. Leaving this qualifying session, you're not allowed to pull into the pits. You have to go into the pits, get a fresh set of boots on, get some more fuel in, but then go out. I think he'll be able to make one more flying lap. Andy McEwen, though, he's on an out lap, and he'll, I think, be able to come across the line and fit in maybe 2 more flying laps. So shall we go on board with Andy McEwen? He'll love the pressure, I'm sure, of a lap around this Zandvoort circuit, Dan.
He will indeed, but you can tell the tyres are cold, can't you? Because look at how much he was dancing through the last corner. I don't know what happened there. Had a bit of he knows we're on board. You see, that's what that is. But yeah, he's doing at the moment he's been doing very well. Like I said, currently overall in P6. Right, what is it going to be? Comes into turn 1, slightly wide, manages to keep it all in check. Then the car comes back around. Again, this is a great complex of corners here. Really technical. You've got to be precise. You've got to hit your markers. Overall, again, backs it in. You can see they're almost using the brakes to just rotate the car. Same through here. Again, a little bit of understeer build-up, but it manages to neutralise it very nicely. That's the first third lap done. Nice and easy, nice and straightforward. Now, as they come down to... I am terrible with corner names, although I know the corner names here are a little bit tricky, so we're probably not going to use them. I know that this is turn 7, so this is a very, very tricky one, actually. Right-hander, downhill, off camber slightly as well, gets the car turned in. Look at the steering angle as well. The steering gets loaded up to about 90 degrees and then is left there as well as the car gets coasted through the corner. Very, very good there in terms of track placement. Just bounces it over the curb. Nice and easy, no mess, no fuss. This one, bit of a tricky... Again, I keep saying tricky, that's the key word here, I think. Is every single corner is slightly off camber. Every single corner there's a bit of braking and turning as well. There's so many things going on, so many little like nuances that you don't necessarily see when you do like a track walk or something like that, or until you actually get out on the circuit and you can feel how the car behaves. It's a great track, but it also is actually quite a tricky one, which I believe, Ed, you and both of us have actually driven it multiple times. And again, places like here, the MX5 seems to take all the curbs quite well. You can really sort of run over the curbs. You can utilise them to your full advantage. But if you do get it wrong, even in this car, which we did see at Catalonia last week, then it won't end well for a couple of the drivers, which hopefully we won't see, but I'm sure there'll be some of that, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Andy McEwen comes out of the front corner, I don't think that was necessarily a full push lap. He was just getting the tyres into the right window, and he's left it right until the end. He's going to come across the line with just enough time before the checkered flag is waved, so he'll be able to complete this flying. You can see yet 1.7 seconds off of his true best lap. Again, overcooks it into the first corner, into Tarzan, so might not be an improvement for Andy McEwen. He's done it as well, not getting any slipstream, which might not be too much of a help to him. Meanwhile, Ben Sharp trying to pursue Nick Clibbens for pole position. You can see how the cars sort of snake and slide their way over the sand dunes here at Zandvoort. A wonderful circuit. I love any track that can use elevation change to good effect. But fun enough, my favourite track is actually Snetterton, and that's just flat as a pancake apart from, obviously, the bomb hole. Other tracks as well, though, very good with undulation. Some of the most famous tracks, the likes of Spa, utilise the elevation to great effect. And Zandvoort is certainly no different. I can't wait to see the F1 get here. But for the moment, the focus is on the BSR Mazdas and Robert Noble here in the Pro-Am class, currently 12th in his division and all. That was a bit of a mistake coming through I think that's called the Audi S, the little chicane section. And a little bit of contact as well between himself, and I'm not sure which car that was in front. That was the 197 and Duncan Cope. Even a 1X or a 0X car contact invalidates both of their lap times. So we're going to see them both peel off into the pit lane, or at least think about peeling off into the pit lane, because they know they won't be able to improve on their times. I think we're seeing as well Pino Krijeveld pulling off in the background, but he's currently still got a time good enough for second in the AM class. What can Colin Sampson manage to bring out? Little ways off of Liam Stimpson, around about 4/10 between himself and, well, what could be fourth place or better in the AMs, but again, aborts this lap. Who else is out on the circuit? I think Ben Sharp is still trying to complete a lap, as is this man, Glenn Humberston. And as Glenn Humberston makes his way out of the chicane and into the final complex. The two right-handers, or, well, one long right-hander, I guess, but for me it's broken up into two sections. You got that first one where you can take a lot of curb, and then, well, with a car on the apex like that, not too great. That was one of the REFE Motorsports cars, not sure who it was, with all of the damage on it. But the drivers, they don't seem to be able to find the time right at the end of this qualifying session. Other drivers still out on the circuit, of course. Ben Sharp, I believe, is trying to come to the end of a lap. I'm not sure where he is on circuit.
Let's have
You
a
can
quick
see,
look.
though, have a little bit of a look. Yeah.
Oh, he's coming
Where is
through
it?
the last
Just
couple
coming
of
through, I
corners.
think, the final sector. Yeah, so Ben Sharp might even go through the final sector, is he? No, I don't think this is going to be improving. You can see the bottom of your screen, no personal best or session best being set for Ben Sharp here, and he doesn't look like he's pushing that hard, does he, really? I think he's just taking it nice and safe, not on the ragged edge, so I think Ben is settling for second place, but going to be trying to get the all-important start into the first corner. It is a bit of a run, isn't there, down into that first corner? Cambered as well means you can definitely have a chance to send it into the first corner around the outside.
Yeah, I think you've got. I mean, the thing with here as well, the thing with Zandvoort, like going into turn one, the last corner, you've got some opportunities, haven't you? You have got quite a lot of opportunities here. So again, we just have to see sort of how it goes. But I mean, well, I've actually just had a quick look. We haven't got very long before the first race starts. So let's have a quick look at the grid as we bring up for you now. So here we go. Nick Clibbins currently on pole position, managing to catch it by just half a tenth. I'm going to have to run through these quite quickly. I do apologise. So second, Ben Sharp, Jason Cooper in P3 with Arthur Panzel in P4. Bear in mind, again, on the controller, madness. Adam Shepherd, P5, Andy McEwen in P6 with Lee Holmes 7th, Craig Cockrell 8th, Luke Cooper in 9th with James Clark rounding out the top 10. Julian Schroer in the 444 in P11. We then have Jeremy Scott in P12. Further down the field, James Nee, P13, Sam Smith 14th, Nick Postons 15th, Stephen Cox 16th, that is Prino Krajeveld in 17th, Michael Clough in 18th, Michael Linscombe Hatfield in 19th with Adam Fox in 20th. Liam Stimson 21st, Chris Slater 22nd, Robert Noble P23 and James King in P24. Colin Sansom P25, Simon Robson 26th, Ashley Simpson 27th with Duncan Cope in P28. Glenn Humberstone in 29th, Tom Griffiths 30th, Anthony Beck 31st, Luke Grundham 32nd, Michael Seal 33rd, Shane Piggott 34th, Douglas Stewart 35th, Craig McDonald 36th, and then we've got Warren Messenger, Thomas Burling, Fiona Siddons and Mark Oliver.
40 cars make their way to the grid for this first race of the evening. Will 40 cars make it through turn one safely, though? That could be another question. These drivers at the front, though, they'll hope to get clear without any incidents or accidents when they get onto the race. Ben Sharp with the inside line. Best run into the first corner, but Nick Clemens around the outside. What can he manage as the lights go out and we go racing here for the first time? It does look like a better start going the way of the 24. Ben Sharp gets away very well. He's already going to be alongside, maybe even edging out Nick Clibbins into the first corner. You can see Jason Cooper in the background is going to be hungry to try and pick up any scraps on the 13 as he's forced wide. Ben Sharp into the lead of the race in the first corner. What a great start from him, what he was hoping for following that second place grid start. Meanwhile, further back, I think just about 40 cars have been able to get through that nice and cleanly. Simon Robson then in the 17. What can he do as he comes up to a car park into this long left-hander? A little bit longer than you think, kind of lures you into getting on the throttle a bit too early. Another bit of door banging as well we just saw, and there could be a little bit more in front as Colin Sansom and Ashley Stimson, I think, get a little bit friendly with one another. And all Stephen Cox, I think, up into the air. The 390 of Adam Fox involved and 87. Yeah, Stephen Cox there, definitely with a lot of damage. Chris Slater as well, I think, has suffered a bit of a knock. He might be able to get through just about, though. Other just madness going on, isn't there? Look at that in the background. So many MX5s dicing for position. Number 3 going down the inside. That's Liam Stimson on James King. Liam Stimson, very good drive from the Am-Man. Up 3 positions since the start, getting through nice and safely, which is paramount when you're in the midfield for one of these grids. And as soon as I say it, as soon as I praise him, he gets it all wrong. And someone that gets even worse was actually the car behind. I'm not sure who that was, but there was definitely a moment for what might have been Colin Sansom.
May have been Shane Piggott, I believe.
or Shane Piggott. Actually, yeah, you think you could be right here. Let's have a look at the replay. You're right, actually, yeah, it would be Shane Piggott. This in the Shepherd Motors BSR car just coming through. And he gets a little bit of a tag, actually. Oh, dear.
Not good at all. We might be able to get some more replays of that as we go. But meanwhile, again, I've just had a quick look, and actually Ben Sharp and Jason Cooper are going to go side by side going into turn one. Who is going to come out on top? I believe it's Jason Cooper has decided, thank you very much. He's going to go around the outside of Ben Sharp. You don't say that very often. So Jason Cooper, good move indeed as he moves up into the lead. And then a little bit further down. Again, we've got racing all over the place. We've got a lot of things to look at. I'd like to look a little bit more, if we can, on sort of the instances ahead. But we're going to try and find some different, try and find some replays for you as we go. Jason Cooper's actually pulled out a couple of tenths, although that's going to be dissipated very, very quickly because as soon as any toe is here, it's going to be completely neck and neck as Ben Sharp has. I thought he was going to have a bit of a look, then decides against it, which may be quite wise. I wonder if he's setting his move up, might be for a roll reversal. Same again going into turn one. We'll have to see how that goes. Just having a quick look a little bit further down. Liam Stimpson, he's very, very close, and he's getting hounded by Glenn Humberstone, but he's also hounding himself with Simon Robson. So this is a bit of a battle here. Glenn Humberstone getting very, very close to the back of that MX5. Probably a little bit too close for comfort. I'm sure Liam will be twitching a little bit there. Look at the line differences as well, actually. I wonder if Liam went a little bit wide. Yeah. But Glenn Humberstone, very, very different line in the entry.
Yeah, I've just seen it further in front as well. Adam Shepherd has just dispatched off Andy McEwen up into 5th place, goes to the 117. Having a very good race is Adam Shepherd. He wasn't around, was he, last time out, which was a bit of a shame because he's often very quick, and you can see it was just, I think, McEwen getting a little bit loose out of the left-hander again, another corner that lures you into it, and then tab of the brakes, slossing in behind, didn't want to fight it into the corner and risk losing out to the car behind. So Andy McEwen will stay in a 6th position and hope to try and pick up the pieces. Maybe as Adam Shepherd goes up for a move on Nick Clibbins. Stuff by the back though, Douglas Stewart in the 777 is looking to get through on Michael Seal. There's a good forecast scrap here for 28th position, but well, Colin Sampson, while he's an AM driver, is doing a very good job of this, isn't he? Up in the mix, I think, though he won't be able to hold off Michael Seal. Down into the first corner he goes, and actually Michael Seal, with a worldly run, is going to get up into the lead of all of these cars. So definite damage, I think, on all three. And Michael Seal, you can see the difference having a clean car makes. No damage to the front, no loss of top ends on through, and look to get away from this battling pack.
Yeah, let's say a bit of a shame here. So we've got RFE Motorsport Blue. Anthony Beck had a small excursion on the exit of, I believe that was turn number 11, but he comes back on the track. No harm done there. As you said, it's amazing how much of a difference that we can have with in terms of car condition. Definitely does have its part to play. A little bit further down have we got here. This is the gaggle of cars. So you've got Joby Scott, Sam Smith. That is Pino Kayaveld as well. And also James Neve getting in the mix as well. So what is it going to be? It's still very, very close between these guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change now to the interval. You're going to see all of a sudden it's going to flash up yellow and red completely. And there we go. It's just yellow and orange everywhere, which goes to show and denote how close these drivers are to one another. That's just getting squeezed out there, does Sam Smith in the 227, but he's going to try and have a look back on Pino Krijveld. So he did make the move. He's going to take it right back as they go through. Jumps over the curve. A little bit of sideways moment there, but he is in for a good position here as long as he can keep it on the inside. Let the car wash out. At the moment, Pino Krijveld can't actually respond to that because he was on the outside, although, now again, roll reversal. Really good drive, though, from the number 37. MX5, because that was a stellar run going in. I don't think Sam Smith's going to be able to do anything. He might try and park it around the outside, but that is not going to be a move that... Oh my goodness, he's gone and done it. Wow, that's an impressive move indeed. I can't get over this. How close is this going to be? These guys have been side by side for pretty much a third of a lap, all the way from the start-finish line. Well, before the start-finish line, look at that, Sam Smith now retaking that position. Oh, that must have been a bit tiresome for him. I'm sure he wanted to do that a little bit sooner.
Yeah, but he got it done in the end, which is the main thing, of course. It's not necessarily about getting it done as soon as possible. It's just about how you can get it done. Getting it through nice and cleanly, of course, is paramount for the drivers. get involved in any incidents that will be looked at by the stewards, and that's probably a good thing because as the season goes on, you find that the drivers do start to pick up a little bit less of a bad habit, shall we say. They get ironed out, as we see Adam Shepherd, I believe.
That was Adam Shepherd past Nick Clibbens. Good move there going into the turn 12 and 13 complex.
Yeah, good little race here from Adam Shepherd. He's climbing up the order, and that is allowing other drivers behind to have a chance. I think the gap between McEwen is going to start to get between Clibbens and McEwen may begin to come down as there's a battle that's very close, and that's James King just ahead of Tom Griffiths. And it's a little bit strange to see Tom Griffiths down here, but he is fighting his way up through the field. He was having a great evening, wasn't he, at Catalunya, showing some excellent pace, and as well, just around before that, at Monza, he's been very quick. So Tom Griffiths, sometimes hot, sometimes cold. He's going to be hoping to be right on the pace, though, this evening. As look at this side by side, two abreast into the first corner. Ben Sharp sweeps it around. We were saying Tarzan is a corner where you can afford to hold it around the outside. Just the camber helps you so much more, and then opens you up. Just go side by side through here, and then into a slightly tighter angle, slightly. You can see how much of a tighter corner this one is, and I think Ben Sharp is just able to win out. But then look at that, the momentum carried by Jason Cooper is so strong that they're still going side by side. Arthur Panzel is looking hungry in the background, as is Adam Shepherd, and I think Ben Sharp could be getting hung out to dry day here if he can. Oh no, never mind. He's just going to swing it around, carry the speed, carry the momentum. Great racing room being afforded everyone on the circuit here. Jason Cooper doing a great job, though, to get in front of the Ben Sharp Racing, the BSR Racing car. Oh, look at that, a move in the background, though. Adam Shepherd diving it through on Arthur Panzer. Is that going to be third position made? No. And is this going to be first position made? I don't know either, because look at this. Ben Sharp is trying every trick in the book to take back the race lead, but Jason Cooper holding firm. And I can tell you, you can see Adam Shepherd did get through on Arthur Panzer. Nick Libbins fancies a run on the 222 into this chicane complex here. Important to get the line right at the start, because if not, you can get checked up, and that's exactly what happened to Ben Sharp. They just got out of sorts on the turn in, and that completely ruined the run for the rest of the corner and gave Jason Cooper a little bit more breathing room. But as I say that, it's only half a second, so you can't have deep breaths over there. Maybe sort of small, shallow ones.
Indeed, absolutely. That was insane to watch. Fair play to everyone there. Just a quick move there as well. We just got to replay there. Tom Griffiths passing. I believe that was Michael Clough. So that was a move that we had there. Going back to the live action, moving back on board. Was it going to be role reversal this time around? But Jason Cooper's not going to have to defend.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a sideways moment there. Oh, and a full spin. That's going to check everyone up. Everyone managing to get by. But Jason Cooper is stuck pretty much there. Now he's going to wait for everyone to go by. Does pick his movement. And he actually gets back out onto the outside line. So well avoided there. I'm sure we're going to see a few... we're definitely going to see some replays of that. I would like to get some replays. Meanwhile, while I get those replays, a little bit further down the field, we've got a great couple of battles going on. One of them between Glenn Humberstone, Simon Robson, and Liam Stimson. Oh, that was a moment there. This is... Again, it's just side by side between... Who's that a little further back? That's Michael Linscombe-Hatfield and Simon Robson that I believe are going to go side by side down all the way through the hill. Again, going through into turn 7 and turn 8. More important one, very, very wide berth given by both drivers, which is a sensible, but then they close up again as naturally the track closes up, so one of them's got to give, and it is Simon Robson, so Michael Linscombe-Hatfield. Good move indeed.
Yeah, I want to have a look there as well at the top of this category, because I believe that is going to the newcomer, Pino Crayeveld. Oh, at least for me, in 12th position. So a great drive here from the newbie, 88 Tech Orange. We can see a replay here. This was Jason Cooper into the first corner. And, well, Adam Shepherd all out of sorts far too late on the brakes. I think he maybe felt a little bit hassled by Ben Sharp going into the first corner. And that just forced him to brake a little bit later than he was hoping for and just got into the back of Jason Cooper. I don't think you can see any other way. Look at this. Adam Shepherd late on the brakes trying to get the move on Ben, but just outbrakes himself far too much. The steering angle comes on. Means that he also doesn't slow down as fast into the back of Jason Cooper, and Jason finds himself through no fault of his own out of the lead of the race, but that gives these drivers a chance to try and have their turn up in front. Arthur Panzel now leads the way ahead of Nick Clibbins. Ben Sharp up in the mix as well, and all of a sudden Andy McEwen, Lee Holmes have closed in as well. So the 5-car battle continues on, but this time with McEwen and Holmes in the mix.
Very good stuff indeed. Again, there's just so much battle going on up and down the field. I really want to get to it all, but unfortunately I don't have 7 PCs, so I can't bring it up for everyone. But at the moment, this is a train here. It's actually settled down for a few moments, so I just want to very quickly give ourselves a bit of a replay. This is Glenn Humberstone that had a small excursion. Where was this going through? Oh, dear. Who was that? The number 78, I believe that is. I'm trying to think who the 78 is. Can't quite see, but that is not how you go through the Audi S's. So, bit of a shame there for Glenn Humberstone, unfortunately, in the 88 Tech MX5. But luckily, he is going again, as we can see on our screens. Arthur Panzel, though, still leads the way, although Adam Shepherd, sorry, not Adam Shepherd, that's going to be Ben Sharp's going to fly it around the outside of turn 13. That's not turn 13, that's turn 11. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But it's going to be side by side between Nick Clibbins and Ben Sharp. As we can see on the timing tower, it's Nick Clibbins that has actually got ahead. But it's going to be Ben Sharp that is now going to be on the inside for turn... This is actually now turn 13. It's going to hung him out to dry, but as well, Nick Clibbins goes wide on turn 13.
Overcooks it, doesn't he? Just too much throttle put down from the number 13. He's going to just about slot in, I think, in front of the number 6. That is Luke Cooper. Jason Cooper, once race leader's teammate, and is battling going through. But that's promoted Andy McEwen, hasn't he, up into a top 3, into a podium place. And I think he might fancy a move actually up. You can see the interval on the left-hand side of the screen getting lower and lower. So there's definitely stuff going on up in front. Look at this. McEwen on Sharp, but just hung out to dry there by the 24. And Lee Holmes fancies a run. In the background, you can see battling as well as he's done it. He's been able to hold on as McEwen against Lee Holmes, but just wasn't able to get the move stuck on Ben Sharp. Has to wait and bide his time. But we are actually onto the final lap of the race. So we'll follow these cars all the way through, because this is a battle that could really hot up. As talking about hotting up, Nick Clibbins is closing back in on Luke Cooper. Adam Shepherd as well up there. He was fighting for the race lead earlier, don't forget. So very quick drivers up at the top. And this bodes really well for the future races. The reverse grids, you can see that cars are able to overtake here, but the drivers have to work for them. They have to use everything they get. So some of these top drivers, Arthur Panzel, Ben Sharp, and Nick Clibbins gets out of sorts into the back of another. There's another Swift Cooper car getting a bump up the rear. This time it is Luke Cooper getting a bit of a tap, and Luke losing out on just a few positions there. James Neve going wheel to wheel with Tom Griffiths. Tom, if you can send it around the outside, what a move that will be. If not, at least I'll have the inside for the first part of the Audi S's. Late on the brakes, who's it going to be? James Neve on the outside. That will then become the inside if he can hold it. We'll go further forward, though, because look at that. Nick Clemens and Pino Kriveld wheel to wheel. Pino just loses out. And you can see in the background, Tom Griffiths was able to take the position on James Neve. But look at this. Could this be a drag race to the line? Ben Sharp in the slipstream, closing him down minute by minute, second by second, meter by meter, and up to the line we go. Ben Sharp, he's going to have the run. Will he get his nose in front as they come up to the line? No, not quite. A hundredth and a half of a second separating first from second at the line. What a finish that was. Andy McEwen comes home top of the Pro-Ams and as well on the overall podium with a third place finish. Very great job there. Lee Holmes in fourth, ahead of Adam Shepherd, Craig Cockrell, Luke Cooper coming in eighth, Jeremy Scott in ninth, and Nick Clibbins completes the top 10. Look at this squabbling though. This is Douglas Stewart in the 777 trying to close in on Colin Sampson, and he could be in with a chance. The slipstream works out if he can get the best run coming through this final couple of corners. You can cut the inside very nicely, and I think Douglas, look at that, he gets a very good run, but the damage to his car means that he won't be able to close in as effectively. You'll have to hope that damage on Colin Sampson's car is just a little bit worse as they make their way up to the line, though. I don't think there's any way through for Douglas Stewart, so they will have Colin Sampson ahead of Douglas. And wow, take a breather, because what a race that was. We're waiting for the final few drivers to come across the line. Robert Noble coming home in 32nd. Warren Messenger in 33rd. And then Fiona Siddons will be last of the finishing drivers, last of the drivers eligible for the reverse grid pole position, which will soon be spun by the wonderful, glamorous assistant, Dan Handover.
Indeed, we're just about to go. I think everyone now has crossed the line. So, indeed, we are going to be removing. We're going to be getting everything ready, getting everything all sorted for the reverse grid, because we all love a reverse grid. So, let us bring that up now. It was very exciting to do it last time, and I'm excited to do it again. So, where it is there, it is there. We changed it a little bit around now. So, I've chucked a few more numbers in just to give it a little bit more. I think, to be fair, we were very sport for choice last week, were we not? For some full reverse grids. Is it going to be the same today? It may very well be. I'm not going to complain if it is. Oh my goodness, I am the spin wheel master. Look at that. Another reverse grid.
It is another full reverse grid. So that will probably promote, well, we'll find out, won't we, as we run through the finishing order. We did see Fiona Siddons, I believe, last of the finishing drivers. So she's probably who will expect to be starting at the front row for the second race as the drivers make their way on their in laps into the pits. We can talk you through the finishing order, and it is Arthur Pansel who took the race victory by just over a 100th of a second to Ben Sharp. Andy McEwen there in third place, finishing on the podium and taking top honours in Pro-Ams. Great return back after a week away from the O1 Racing driver ahead of Lee Holmes. Great drive from him as well, the 88 Tech Racing driver there. Not too far, was he? Off of the lead of the race, could have been up there had things gone more his way. Adam Shepherd there in 5th position. I'm not sure if he'll be too pleased with that, though, especially considering the contact we saw between himself and Jason Cooper rather, earlier on in the race. Craig Cockrell is the third place in the Pro-Ams, completes the Pro-Am podium in 6th position. Ahead of James Clark, Luke Cooper, Jeremy Scott, and Nick Clemens, who completes your top 10 with newcomer to the series, Pino Crayeveld, up in 11th place overall and taking the AM class victory. Great drive there from the 88 Tech Orange driver. Ahead of Sam Smith, Tom Griffiths, James Neave, Jason Cooper was in the race lead, but unfortunately after that incident into the first corner on, I believe, the 5th lap, saw him down in 15th place. Ahead of Julian Schroer, Michael Clough, and James King in 18th place. 19th sees Ashley Stimpson ahead of Liam Stimpson in 20th place. Ahead of Michael Linscombe Hatfield, Luke Grundman, Simon Robson, Duncan Cope, Anthony Beck, Michael Seal, Thomas Burling, and Glenn Humberston with 29th place, I believe, going to... Oh, sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. She's very demanding for attention. Apologies. Douglas Stewart there in 30th place. Constance in 29th. Ahead of Craig McDonald, Robert Noble, Warren Messenger, and Fiona Siddons, who will find herself starting on the front row for the second race of the evening for Matthew Logistics White. And the non-finishers are Chris Slater, Stephen Cox, Adam Fox, and Shane Piggott, with, I believe, Nick Postance and Mark Oliver also non-finishing. Unfortunate to see a few drivers not getting to the end of the race, but still, what a drive and what a race that was from our race victor, Arthur Pansel. I believe, I'm not sure if my knowledge is correct, but I think that might have been his first race victory of the season, and we're going to say yet again, on a controller, no less.
I mean, you can't argue with it, can you? That's just very impressive. I mean, that's just insane. You know, iRacing is not a platform that necessarily promotes controllers, but definitely going away from the norm there. So absolutely fantastic. Fair play indeed.
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see if we have any drivers coming through for a post-race interview, but I can't seem to see any. So I think, Dan, we will quickly go to a break and come back for all of the action here at Zandvoort for the second race of the evening. Front row for Fiona Siddons and Warren Messenger, 2 AM drivers going into the first corner. It's going to be a great race. You want to stay tuned to Absolute Sim Racing, and we'll see you all in a little bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing. We're here still at the Zandvoort circuit for the second race of 4 here in the BSR Tegiwa MX5 trophy. We've just seen a brilliant race, haven't we? Saw Arthur Panzel take the race victory ahead of Ben Sharp and Andy McEwen took the Pro-Am victory, also finishing on the overall podium. Great drive there, but with the full reverse grid looming large over all those drivers' heads, they will be starting down in 35th position with Fiona Siddons up on the front of the field. She will be finding herself starting this race on a pole position.
I think, to be fair, that's definitely a position that I wouldn't mind being in. It's going to be tricky, though. Like, bear in mind, you've got, it's not going to be an easy stretch by any stretch of the imagination. Because, again, as well, when you look at it, you've got, as long as you get a good start, that's the key thing. As long as you can get a good start, possibly as well pull away if you're able to. If you're able to actually pull away from everything that happens behind, you're in a position where actually probably not all that bad. But again, it's tricky, especially now when everyone's got to make the start work with these sequential gearboxes, because they do put a bit of strain on the start. And I do hear people, a lot of people say that these starts are a lot more difficult to achieve now.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but we did see, didn't we, in that first race, Ben Sharp getting a wonderful drive up at the start, I believe, going down the inside of Nick Clibbins into first corner. So it's definitely doable. You can really get a good drive, and if you're starting on second place, that gives you the inside line, potentially into the first corner. A little while to go, though, as you can see, in this practice session. Waiting for the drivers to come till the end after 10 minutes so we can get you started with all of the action, but we have a little bit of time to look forward to the calendar, and in a week's time we'll be finding ourselves in a land down under. Mount Panorama Bathurst will be host to the 5th round of the BSR MX5 trophy, and then we go to Tsukuba and Watkins Glen another week later. But Mount Panorama Bathurst, I will be really looking forward to that. I've commentated on a few rounds, driven in a few rounds of BSR Mazda racing there, and I can tell you it's always an entertaining affair.
I can imagine it is, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Tsukuba is like the one I'm most looking forward to. Like, just 40 cars around cars. There. It's just 40 cars on a track that, let's be honest, is may as well be a karting track, and it could probably pass for one. I've driven that all the way since like Forza 3, I think it was. That was one of the first games I ever drove it on, and just fell in love with it. And it was such a good, it's just got a bit of everything. Fiona Siddons as well, utilising all of the track available and a teeny tiny bit more. Again, good practice. It's exploring the limits is exactly what you want to do. I just love Tsukuba. It's such an amazing track, and I think it's actually perfect for these cars. And you could race anything around it and it'd be fun. You could race LMP2 cars and it'd be hilarious. Like, it's a great track that, while it is small, does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that it's a bad circuit for any type of car class. Don't
give this BSR group any ideas, though. BSR LMPs would certainly be something to watch. 15-minute sprint races in LMP2s. Oh, that would be a mega. But we've got a mega race on our hands here. The second race, we'll see Fiona Siddons lining up on the front row ahead of Warren Messenger. And, well, we'll run through the grid very quickly. Robert Noble, Craig McDonnell, Douglas Stewart, Colin Sampson, Glenn Humberston, Thomas Burling, Michael Seal, and Antti Beck complete your top 10, with Duncan Cope and Simon Robson 11th and 12th. 13th, then, we'll be able to get that up. We can see Luke Grunman ahead of Michael Linscombe Hatfield, Liam Stimpson, Ashley Stimpson, James King, Michael Clough, Julian Schroer, Jason Cooper, James Neve, Tom Griffiths, Sam Smith, and Pino Krajeveld. Will be ahead of Nick Clibbins, who's in 25th, Jeremy Scott, Luke Cooper, James Clark, Craig Cockrell, Adam Shepherd, Lee Holmes, Andy McEwen, Ben Sharp, and Arthur Panzel there. Race leader, race victor last time out in 34th place, ahead of Chris Slater and Stephen Cox. With a few more to go, Adam Fox, Shane Piggott, and Nick Posters. It's your 39 car grid. So cars, they have made their way up to the grid. The lights are on, actually, and I think the race has just gotten underway. It's all getting off very quickly. Fiona Siddons think she's got a clear run into the first corner. Robert Noble closing in behind, as is Craig McDonald. But I think Fiona, she'll just be able to stay in front, taking the corner nicely. A little bit of understeer there. Cold tyres really not favourable to drive on. And, well, Robert Noble is going to take that opportunity with both hands, isn't he? Down the inside of Fiona he goes. Fiona will try and fight it, but gets out onto the dirt and has to concede the positions. That has allowed Colin, Sampson and Craig McDonald to get through. Oh, and there's contact in the background. I think you can see several cars slow on the inside line. Not sure who that is. Michael Linscombe Hatfield, I think, potentially could be in there. We're seeing positions changing left and right on the side of the screen there. You can see a sea of orange and yellows on this first lap of racing. It's all kind of kicking off, isn't it, at the moment?
Oh, it is, absolutely. Look at there, Pinot Crivel. He's made up a fair few positions already. Ooh. He's up to P14 overall. So he's down, just made another position there on Jason Cooper. So again, it's getting close. Again, it's just so close in the film. Michael Linscombe Hatfield, he's had a bit of a moment as well. We've got loads of replays that we want to look at. Look at this, Lee Holmes. He's getting a bit pressured here going into the second half of the lap. Again, this is where it starts to get all over the place. Got to keep it in check now through turn 11. You have to keep it in check, keep it tight on the exit. You actually want to be getting on the power later than you initially think, because otherwise you can see that it just tightens up a little bit. You've got to be careful. A bit of sideways moment there. I'm trying to think who that was. Could have been Craig Cockrell, I believe. May have been possibly Ben Sharp, actually. I'm thinking about it, looking at the livery. Very familiar livery that is. There's a bit more battling up ahead, but possibly actually one of them, Colin Sampson, he's going to lose a position from the Year 1 TV. I think it's Year 1 TV versus Year 1 TV of Andy McEwen versus Colin Sampson. Who is it going to be? I think it's going to be Andy McEwen. That gets that move done. Also as well, I think Luke Cooper decided he wanted to have a bit of a moment. Or is he going to save it? Colin Sampson, Colin. What a save. What a save from the Year 1 TV driver. That was absolutely fantastic. But Andy McEwen, though, again, it's going to be himself versus Duncan Cope versus Luke Cooper, possibly going 3 wide. Oh, there was going to be 3 wide there for a second. Is Andy McEwen going to hold it around the outside? Yes, he does. Because
oh my word! And he comes through a car park.
What? I've just had a look at the timing tower. There's been, there's not enough replays in the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen there. Hopefully we will to see exactly what happened. But Andy McEwen makes up several positions in one fell swoop. Carries a lot of speed into the corner there. We'll see this with Cryovel's point of view. On board we can see, oh, does he just outbrake himself a little bit too much? Unfortunately, I think inexperience there from Pino late on the brakes. You can see what he was trying to do, and if he pulled it off, that would have been an absolutely amazing move, but it's just a little bit too much. Maybe his eyes were bigger than his steering wheel, his tyres were, and unfortunately it was ambition over adhesion there into the first corner for the newcomer. But that's benefited other drivers, of course, getting through that nice and cleanly. Adam Fox, you can see, he was able to make up a few places. He's up into 23rd. Look at this, though, down the inside. You can see Ben Sharp going for a brilliant little move. What he's going for one, I think that was to get ahead of Colin Sansom. And now Ben Sharp will set his sights on Lee Holmes. Lee's been having a great time of things, hasn't he? He's been showing good pace on the first race, finishing, I believe, in 4th. Now up there, just ahead of Ben Sharp. But I have to say, it's been a mega drive at the moment from the driver we were just looking at, Andy McEwen, to get up the field so quickly at this early stage of the race. And that's going to do him no end of favours, while all the other drivers that arguably might have been faster than him in the first race get stuck in traffic. And he's already up into 10th place.
He is exactly doing very well. 22 positions he's made up, but also Adam Shepherd, he's made up 23 positions as well. This is going to be interesting.
Chris Slater on the inside.
I wonder what it's going to be. If you understand, I think it's going to lose out on a position. Yeah, it's so close to call because everything happens so quickly. And again, you can hold it, as you say, you can hold it around the outside of turn 1, that you can just keep the car there so much. To be fair, look at that. Fionison's got quite a sizable amount of damage on the front car. The front bumper's hanging off. So that's going to be costing a lot of time. Honestly, that's why we saw so many positions being lost there as well. Look at the bumper just all over the place as well. A bit of a tap there. Who was that from? That might have been from Ben Sharp, actually, to be fair.
I think that was actually Fiona just trying to come up behind. That might have been Arthur Pansel, I believe. She's just trying to slot in behind The car in front had a slight tap, but then gets passed around the outside there by Ben Sharp. Ben was definitely not hanging around, was he? Getting through nice and quickly, nice and cleanly as well. Great driving there from our championship leader. It's all kicking off everywhere we look, though. We can't really focus on one battle because there's other battles that sort of erupt elsewhere. So great little battle in here. Fiona Siddons right in the thick of it, trying to hold the inside line, trying to defend from the car, going around her outside. And you know what? She might just be able to hold it. No, not quite, as Craig Cockrell gets the advantage going into the Audi S. I think he's going to be late enough on the brakes to hold it. Meanwhile, Luke Grunman on board here with the Rust Bucket Racing Team 2 entrant, looking for a move on the 444 of Julian Schroer. And Julian, we've made his debut last time out. So we're going to see what Julian can manage now. He's forced a little bit wide there, gets onto the gravel. That's not the most optimal way to take that corner, unfortunately. And well, it took a lot of speed in, not a lot of speed out, and the speed out is what you need coming onto this long straight. Is Luke going to try and make it 3 wide? Is he going to get the overspeed, diving to the inside of Shane Piggott? He's going to look for it. There's a slow car in front, and I think that is Fiona Siddons. The damage, just you can see the difference it makes. The smallest amount of damage, a front bumper injury, I guess, on your car means that you lose out on so much top end speed. The Sturka that's relatively power focused. You've got a lot of flat out areas. Any loss of that top speed really does harm your chances in the race. But the driver that, well, his chances in the race hasn't been harmed, as we see. Oh, the driver that has had their chances, that was Michael Seal. This was, I think, was this at the earlier phase of the race, perhaps? Was this just now? Recently, actually? Oh, Michael Seal, 40 Racing. Big hit that. We're going to see outboard shot. It looks like a slight amount of net code there between himself and the 227. However, I think there was always going to be contact even if the net code wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a shame that, isn't it? There was always going to be, as you say, some form of contact there, but how much it would have affected it, I don't know. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Netcode is not a wonderful thing. As we saw there, but Lee Holmes is being pressured at the moment by the one and only Ben Sharp, who's made up 16 positions. He's on a charge at the moment. He's halfway through the race already, so we've got a little bit of time to go, but that will come down very quickly. He flies up the inside, does Ben Sharp, although it's going to be that Lee Holmes is going to have the inside for turn 13. Pushes Ben Sharp, or just basically hangs it on the inside. Ben Sharp goes a little bit wide, and he maintains that position.
As I've just seen Adam Shepherd getting through into 3rd place now. He's having a good drive, up 27 positions so far this race. A great drive here, trying to claw back some points after an unfortunate incident where he outbroke himself into the rear of Jason Cooper. You can see that he just was able to get it on the run, coming through the second to last corner into the last corner, and that momentum has carried him well and up into what could be 2nd place there, just coming through on Thomas Burling. The 008 doesn't seem to have the answer for the 117, and look at this. Look at how close they were getting to one another. Brilliant racecraft on display, racing clean, racing hard, but also racing fair, which is the important thing. Adam Shepherd again, just look at the way he exits these corners to give him the best run into the slipstream of the cars in front. Really does bode well for how he's able to get up through the field. Great play here, though. This was Duncan Cope. Oh, just gets it out of shape. Oh, and the car was out of control. As soon as he dips onto the brakes, the momentum carries him over along the right-hand side into the wall, unfortunately.
That's Arthur Panzel.
Duncan Cope. And that was Arthur Panzel. You're right, actually getting taken out. Just innocent bystander in all of that. Race 1, race winner, seemingly out of the race with a hefty amount of damage.
Yeah, not good, is it? As you say, just a complete passenger at that. There's no chance of reacting really there as well. Great shot of Craig Cockrell now on your nose, on the front bumper. Then gets a good shot. He has an opportunity to see where everything's going on and sort of what's happening at this moment in time. You know, he's got an opportunity to almost like let everyone sort of battle, pick up any sort of moves that happen along the way. Again, taking a wide, a little bit too wide going through turn 12, but manages to compose it well through 13. And again, now, as long as he can get the run, just uses the right amount of curd. No more, no less. And now it's all going to be a drag race now, going into turn 1. I tell you, the person that's at the front of this train is... this is Ben Sharp is at the front of this. So he hasn't got anyone ahead of him, so he's not going to gain a tone. Although I think he's
close
far enough
battle
ahead.
up in front. I think Andy's going to go on James King. They're battling into the first corner. I think James King around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold off the assault from the number 4? Not quite. Looks to get the outside, get the best run possible up through the left and right handers. Andy McEwen forces his way through. Look at that, a bit of door banging. I don't think there was much wrong with that. You could see Andy McEwen was well off onto the right hand side of the circuit. He couldn't give any more room if he wanted to without going off of the road. And now he's going to pick up the slipstream, get the best run out of the corner, and manage to hold 5th position after a great spirited fight. Look at this. James Clark is arriving on the scene, closing in, trying to find a way through on the 23. But again, nothing doing here, nothing really materializing. But there's just battles everywhere. You look so close throughout the field. Chris Slater has been hungry as well. I can see in 12th place to get through on Ashley Stimpson, but that's just not coming true. Craig Cockrell, Craig McDonnell, better than the Craigs, hotting up as well, down in 16th and 17th place. But James Clark, look at this, diving down the inside. Is he going to get it to stick? That'd be a great move if he does, But the drive out of the corner is the crucial part. And you know what? I think he's been able to get it. What a move that was from James Clark, taking advantage of all of the squabbling, all of the fighting for position further in front. As Andy McEwen goes through on Thomas Burling. Is he going to be able to get it stopped in time? Oh, maybe not quite. Look at the drive he gets from around the outside. He set that up brilliantly, and now he slots in behind Anthony Beck. This could be 2 podiums on the bounce for the Year 1 racing driver.
It could be indeed. You're absolutely right. Craig McDonald, though.
Luke Cooper, I think, is getting close to a fight on Sam Smith. Sorry to cut you off there.
Let's have a quick look if we can see Sam Smith again. Indeed, you are right. Robson, though, is actually causing him a bit of grief as well. So this is going to be a battle as they go through. Potentially, you always think 3-1 is going to happen at some point this weekend, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's going to happen at some point this race, or this round, I should say. Sam Smith, though, doesn't quite make the move at this moment in time. I'll tell you one person that might make a move, though, is Michael Seal versus Shane Piggott. Who is going to come out on top? I believe it is.
I think Shane's just gone through on the inside. I saw him closing in and was late enough on the brakes. Michael Seal can't fight it back, can he?
No, he can't, unfortunately. So that's a position loss from himself there. But again, I wonder if he's going to have an opportunity to make that back. There we go. Nick Postlands is actually quite close to this trailer field as well. He's only a couple of cars behind. The person that's actually at the back of this train, I believe, is Luke Grunman. So that's a, see again, potentially picking up any stragglers. You never know when anything like this could happen. You genuinely don't know when anything like this could ever happen. So, you know, a position like this could very well make itself known coming into the later half of the race. Actually, I didn't realise that Adam Shepard did pass Robert Noble. So this is the replay of that now. Again, textbook move going into turn 1. Is it going to be round the outside, round the outside, round the outside? And I think it may very well be. Just keeps it on the inside. Look at that again, the drive that he's got. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And as long as you can keep it on the outside, then turn 4 is pretty much yours for the taking.
It's just on acceleration. Adam's car looks just so planted and just such a steady platform for him to go on and go through. He's able to keep the car nice and steady, but we just saw a moment there of a contact into the Audi S's. We've got another replay here. Thomas Burling just into the back of the 23 and then getting sent around himself, unfortunately. He was coming close to James King, and then I think Sam Smith might have ended up sending him around. We've got another replay here, and this was Shane Piggott. This was the thing we saw earlier. Michael Seal, all out of sorts, too much speed in, taps the rear of the 127, and Shane Piggott is going to find himself facing backwards and facing himself, the prospect of himself losing several positions. Oh, you're right there. Big moment. What's happened here?
Well, I don't know. Let's have a quick look, see if we can get that. Well, we just saw the car there as well. What's going to happen? This is James King. Was he an innocent bystander? Yes, he was. Oof. Actually, do you know what? James King managed to avoid it. I'll tell you one person that didn't know was Robert Noble. So let's see if we can get the replay of him here. Here it is, going through into turn 1. The Russ Bucket racing car. Is he going to be? So Andy McEwen went for a move.
But too late on the brakes is Andy there.
Do you know what? To be fair, it's actually quite a difficult corner to anticipate because you think the person that's in front, you think that the corner, they're actually able to carry more speed than they initially are. I think he was almost anticipating, whether it was late on the brakes or not, that the move, the car, wasn't actually going to be there. So Robert Noble wasn't actually going to be on, basically in that positioning and that Andy McEwen was able to run a little bit wide. Unfortunately, the car didn't quite move out of his trajectory of the car, and that was an unfortunate move through there. So yeah, bit of a shame there.
We did see it in the first race, didn't we, between Adam Shepherd and Jason Cooper, and the same has happened here in the second race, but this time it was Andy McEwen to just a little bit, not really far too late, was it? Just a little bit, the same as the case with Adam Shepherd, just that little bit too late on the brakes, trying to chase that extra amount of speed into the corner to get the moves done. But Adam has been a much better race for him this time around as he comes out of the final corner. Will greet the checkered flag. Look, he's waving. He's much happier with this race than the first. Comes through to take the race victory here. 5 seconds to the good as there's a drag race. James King just ahead of Sam Smith. Andy McEwen, though, coming home in second place. Another Pro-Am class victory and an overall podium. This time going one better up into second place. Look at this close fighting throughout the field. Some of the times being set as well. Simon Robson just 300 shy of Ben Sharp. What a brilliant race though this has been. And we have a replay of, well, this is Robert Noble. Oh, and is that a hardware failure coming into the final corner on the last lap?
It may very well have been. Could possibly be a small hardware failure, quite a catastrophic hardware failure as well. Yeah, bit of a shame through there. James Clark just coming around the last corner. A lot of damage there. Yeah, his car's seen better days, isn't it? The Swift Cooper Esports car's definitely seen better days, unfortunately. So we're going to bring you the grid in but a few moments' time, though. These guys still having a bit of a battle. They're not wanting to give up just yet.
No, they're not wanting to give it up, even though I believe the race is over. But maybe race is over, but they're trying to race maybe into the pits, just going through nicely. We did see last time actually that Ben Sharp has caught out by that. He said that the race was finished for him, and then ended up coming through to take the race. Well, not take the race victory, didn't he? He ended up losing out on the race victory because his iRacing crew chief told him that he'd won the race when there was still a lap to go. But we, like you mentioned, I think we've come now to the end of the race. All the drivers have come across the line, so we can have the reverse grid spinning wheel up to determine the fate of the drivers for the third race of the evening. We're already halfway through this, Stan.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? We are, as you say, we're already halfway through. So this is going to be coming up for you in but a few moments. So here is the spinning wheel. Who is going to be? Oh, we're not going to get another. We're not going to get another full reverse grid, are we? If we are, I might have to take them off of the menu because that is just. I am not doing this. There is no way to rig this. There genuinely is not. I press a button and it does its own thing. Well, there we go, Ed.
How have you done this? How have you done this?
Oh dear. Again, all I can say is I have a gift.
You certainly do. I don't know if the drivers are going to be appreciative of that gift. The likes of Adam Shepherd, Andy McEwen, they'll find themselves stuck towards the back of the field yet again. So we'll be able to see how they're able to navigate that on the third race of the evening. But we do have to come to the finishing results of the first race. So we can see confirmation on your screens that Adam Shepherd took the race victory ahead of Andy McEwen, but Andy takes the Pro-Am class victory and another overall podium to his name. James King, great drive from himself to come through into third place ahead of Sam Smith, Anthony Beck, Luke Cooper, Ben Sharp, Simon Robson, Ashley Stimpson, and Chris Slater, who completes your top 10. Lee Holmes down in 11th, another good drive from the 88 Tech driver, ahead of Craig Cockrell, Colin Sampson, Thomas Burling, Michael Steele, Nick Bostons, Luke Grenman, and Adam Fox there in 18th. Adam, you have to say, had a great drive because he was well down the back of the field. Unfinished last time out, getting some good points this time around. Pino Cryaveld there in 19th, the newcomer for 88 Tech Orange, again impressing on his debut. Ahead of Douglas Stewart, Julian Schroer, Liam Stimpson, Jason Cooper. Again, he's not having the luck at all. Second in the championship coming into this round, giving Ben Sharp all of the things he needs to extend his margin, unfortunately, for the Swift Cooper Esports Racing driver. Shane Piggott down in 24th, ahead of Stephen Cox, Jeremy Scott, Fiona Siddons, and Michael Linscombe Hatfield in 28th. A few more drivers still to come, though. Michael Clough in 29th, ahead of James Clark, Nick Clibbins, and last of the drivers eligible to score points, eligible for the reverse grid, and will be starting on pole position at 32nd place. Robert Noble, the Rust Bucket Racing driver, finds himself on the front row. Just missing out is Craig McDonald, first of the non-finishers, ahead of Arthur Panzel, Duncan Cope, James Neve, Warren Messenger, and Glenn Humberston. Unfortunately not able to make it through until the end of the race, but I think that we do have a driver coming in to have a word, and it is our race victor driver we didn't see last time out, but we've seen him now, and he's doing a very good job of it. Back out on track, Adam Shepherd, welcome to the comms box. First time here on Absolute Sim Racing.
Yeah, hello, how are you?
Doing very good. Congratulations are in order, because that was a brilliant drive through the field from well at the back, making 29 places up into first. Some of those moves you made, well, the move at the end to get into first place was absolutely stellar.
Yeah, it was good, that one. I was a bit annoyed with myself from race one for taking out Jason. It's not something I normally do, so I was trying to make sure I was extra careful in that race, and I finished it with a 0x, so I couldn't complain.
Yeah, very good drive from you. Do you think maybe it was just trying to dust the cobwebs off in the first race, getting back into the BSR swing of things and coming through to get that race victory in the end?
Yeah, it is. It's I haven't been on for a few weeks, and I don't race on iRacing other than the BSR series, so it's been just a bit of rustiness really. I had too much toe, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and when I looked back, it was too late. So it's completely my fault. It was just it just caught me out a little bit.
That was a great drive from you, but again, another full reverse grid is to come, and well, blame Dan for that one. It's not my doing. What are your hopes though into the third race?
Just try and have another clean one really. Obviously you can win it from there, we've just done it, so keep our nose clean and hopefully push as hard as we can, see where we can end up.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good to see you back out on the circuit, of course. You've, like you mentioned, missed the past couple of rounds, so you're going to see more of you this season, or is real life still quite busy for you at the moment?
Yeah, just been really busy lately. I'm going to try and get on as much as I can. It's just as and when really. I decide about an hour before qualifying starts if I'm going to race or not, so it's always last minute.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully you're able to know a little bit more further in advance if you are able to race or not in the future. But congratulations, Adam, on your race victory. We hope that you'll stick around for plenty more racing still to come.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
No
and,
worries. Adam, we're just going to say, is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you get off?
Yeah, that one's for my granddad. He sadly passed away a few days ago, and he loved watching me on this, so that one was for him. So it's nice to have won one.
Yeah, I remember you shouting him out a few months ago, actually, and obviously deeply sad for your loss, but we know that he would have been very happy to see you come through for that race victory. Congratulations, Adam, and carry on making him proud, mate. That was a great drive.
Brilliant. Cheers.
So, everybody, that was Adam Shepherd taking, I have to say, was a very emotional race victory, but a race victory that was sorely deserved, wasn't it? The pace he's been showing all race long has been excellent, hasn't it, Dan?
Oh, it has indeed. It has indeed. And yeah, as you say there, obviously deeply saddened for Adam's loss there. But again, like I said, it was a very nice thing because he's dedicating that win to his granddad. So good stuff indeed. But yeah, I mean, not too long before we've obviously got the next race going ahead, and I'm sure it's going to be throwing even more exciting opportunities, especially with that new and another reverse grid.
Yeah, exactly. Your wheels weighted. Maybe in the break we're able to try and fix it up somehow, and maybe make sure we don't get too many for reverses, or maybe just enough. I think at the moment it's been a bit silly, but anyway, we'll see you all on Absolute Sim Racing in a few moments' time. We've just got to hop out and hop into the next race session. The third race, though, will be up and underway very shortly, so keep it tuned, and we'll see you all in a little bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing. We're here for the third race of the evening here at the wonderful Zandvoort circuit. The Zandvoort circuit that's provided us with two excellent races. The first race going the way of Arthur Panzel, the second race going the way of Adam Shepherd. But who will take top honours in the third race with another full reverse grid? It's still all to play for, Dan. It's anyone's guess on who can come out on top.
Isn't it? When you've actually got to look at it at face value, everything happens so fast that you generally don't know, and things can happen so quickly. It's very difficult in a way to predict. Like, we couldn't really predict last week. We can't really predict this week. Because, again, so much just goes on. Again, not complaining in the slightest, bear in mind. But, yeah, I think as well, obviously, we've got... With that full reverse grid, it just makes things even more tricky and spices things up even more. Again, like I said, I'm sure we're obviously enjoying it and the people that are watching are enjoying it, but maybe not so much the drivers. They're probably getting a bit fed up with those now. Yeah, I think all in all, we're still going to be some great racing, still going to be some enjoyable racing. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it? Is that as long as the racing is good, the racing is clean, that is the major draw, the major attraction of everything that we're able to bring you on Absolute Sim Racing. Just waiting for final few moments before the drivers come to the end of their warm-up session. We can get you started with the race. Again, we will have to run through the grid very quickly with such a large grid size. There isn't much time between the time that they spend lining up on the grid and the time that they get the race underway, so we'll have to lightning round our way through it, and then the racing will begin. What a prospect is there, another full reverse grid, and I genuinely just cannot believe how spoiled we've been with from the wheel, giving us these little reverse grid wheel moments. But of course, sometimes with the reverse grids, the spinning wheels, the full reverses means that we see a bit more contact than we'd like to see. So maybe if the final one is a little bit smaller, fingers crossed at least, we'll have a nice clearer affair. Not sure if that is the standings on it, because I don't think Andy McEwen was on reverse grid pole position. Hopefully we'll be able to get the updated and proper grid up. There we go. Sometimes our timing likes to play tricks on us, but no, Robert Noble is on pole position with Nick Libbins alongside him. James Clark, Michael Clough, Michael Linscombe Hatfield, Fiona Siddons, Jeremy Scott, Stephen Cox, Shane Piggott, and Jason Cooper complete your top 10 with Liam Stimpson and Judy Schroer 11th and 12th. 13th, then, we'll see Douglas Stewart ahead of Peter Kriveld, Adam Fox, Luke Grunman, Nick Postens, Michael Seal, Thomas Burling, Colin Sansom, Craig Cockrell, Lee Holmes, Chris Slater, and Ashley Stimpson. Then 25th, we'll see Simon Robson ahead of Ben Sharp, Luke Cooper, Anthony Beck, Sam Smith, James King, Andy McEwen, Adam Shepherd, Craig McDonald, and Arthur Panzel, with James Neave and Warren Messenger 35th and 36th, with Glenn Humberston and Tom Griffiths rounding out your 38 car grid. And I can tell you what, the race is about to get underway here at the start. Robert Noble, I think, is going to get them started here. And is it a good run this time as well from Nick Clemens? Nick does get a good drive out of the corner, but I think Robert Noble will just be able to hold firm at the front. Again, the cars do get underway very quickly, but that just means that we get into the racing nice and fast, as well as fast into the first corner. Is Nick Clemens going to be able to take the position, or is Robert Noble around the outside going to carry the speed, carry the momentum into the second, third, and fourth corner? No, he isn't. He concedes the position into turn 3 and slots in behind. So Nick Clemens finds himself into the lead of the race. The number 13 car, a car that we saw up at the front end of the field not too long ago, was it? At the start of the evening, was really up there. Just bad luck befell the 13, and he's really hoping for a little bit of a cleaner race this time around. Further back as well, you could just see, isn't it, a sea of orange, a sea of yellow as cars fight their way through, trying to get through nice and clean. Crucial, though, for Jason Cooper. You can see him just at the front, the white sort of lime green and blue car getting through cleanly up into 8th place. Lee Holmes, is this going to be a chance? Oh, as soon as why do I open my mouth? Who's that on the right hand side of the circuit? Why, that's Jason Cooper in the wall with damage. I was just talking about how crucial that was going to be for his championship to get through nice and cleanly and take some points away from Ben Sharp. as my eardrums get split open by a car crashing right in front of us. Why do I speak, though, Dan? Why do I speak in curse Jason Cooper, who's doing so well, right until I have to say something?
I'd like to say, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It wasn't commentator's curse. Don't worry about it. Anthony back here as well, just dicing with Sam Smith, but he goes up, and that position is now back to where it was. I'm just having a quick look as well. Yes, we've got lots of different replays to have a look at. The main ones that I would like to look at, Fiona Siddons unfortunately had a bit of a moment. We've got more contact as well, more people off. Can't think who that was. That might be Lee Holmes that's lost out there. So yeah, lots of different replays to definitely have a look at. One of them, I think one of the first ones we saw was Douglas Stewart. He had a moment here which may have caused a bit of a chain reaction on everything else. As it could be. Oh, just taps the wall. Well, just taps the grass. Manages to save it. What a save from Douglas Stewart. That was very good indeed. Again, we've got a bit more action for racing for you at the moment. Arthur Pandel, he's moving his way back up the field as well. Lots of bit of a chain. That was a cheeky little lunge. Oh, a bit of contact, but that's okay. Just manages to get up the inside of Simon Robson. He's not going to be wanting that in the slightest. But Arthur Pandel making the move and capitalising on that opportunity that he had there.
What an overtake there. That's something that you'd see on Forza or Gran Turismo. Is it a proper pad driver's overtake, lunging it down the inside, going for the move. What a good little overtake that was. We're going to see it again. Slow motion into the corner. He goes, it's just...
This is actually Jeremy Scott.
Actually, this is Jeremy Scott, actually. Sorry. Yeah, Jeremy Scott having a moment. Is this just into turn 4? I had too much speed in. Very strange to see the rear of the car loop around like that.
Yeah, something like you said, you don't necessarily see too much all the time. Andy McEwen, though, he's being hassled by James King because James King's have a bit of a move.
Oh, look at that. Cutback, though. Cutback by Andy McEwen.
As you say, yeah, cutback. Andy McEwen decides that he doesn't want to get that position that easily. And then look at that. Good textbook stuff indeed. And Andy McEwen moves back up into that position. Although, so James King doesn't want to get that position up. He wants that move back. As long as he can stay with him when they get onto the start-finish straight, he's going to have a pretty good chance. Again, leading a train that I can see here, and the biggest train that we've got is, at the moment, or one of the biggest trains, is Pino Craivel, currently third in class, P16 overall. Look at the train that he is currently... Actually, it's not him leading it. It's instead, it's Liam Stimpson, I believe, that's leading this train. But Simon Robson, they're going to go side by side already before they even get to... Actually, Pino Craivel's actually going to go into the pits, so that's not going to be good.
Yeah,
we'll have to follow...
I think that's a meatball, unfortunately.
Not good to tell. He was involved, I believe, in a bit of an accident. Look at that 2x2 Noah's Ark style as they go in. Craig Cockrell is taking that one there. That was close as well. Anthony Beck getting very, very close to the back of Simon Robson's car. I thought that could have been a small little tap there as well. But Jason Cooper is going to try and go around the inside, going through into turn 5. Is he going to make it stick? I believe he does. Good move indeed there by Jason Cooper, the number 1.
Yeah, getting through, as we saw at the start of the race, involved in that moment later on in the lap. So Jason Cooper, what can he do this time to get through on the car ahead? Anthony Beck for 20th place, though not the positions that Jason Cooper was hoping to be fighting for at this stage of the race. I have to say, he'd probably be hoping to be up where the likes of Andy McEwen would be. But look how close he's able to get, nearly pushing the car in front along and around the outside. Is he going to be able to get it to stick? You know what? I think he has. Great overtake there by Jason Cooper, coming through and taking that place. Really unorthodox, though, you have to say, to get through. Who's that? I think that's James Neve into the wall. I think there was a little bit of tap and that unsettled the car over the curb and unfortunately span him around. What a drive that was. What an overtake by Jason Cooper. We're going to see again. Oh, there was contact on the inside, and that was, I believe, mowed down to the... Yeah, that was the Anthony Beck. Just not giving too much space on the inside and forcing James Neve off the road. You can see James Neve had the corner and unfortunately just wasn't afforded that much space.
Yeah, unfortunate. Like I said, not ideal, but again, hopefully didn't take too much damage and he'll be getting going again. Michael Glove, he's going to go up the inside potentially. Look at all the cars in the pits. I thought we were going to see in a sprint race.
Through, I think, actually. James Clark going through on Michael Clough, but Michael Clough is going to fight back, isn't he? Around the outside, just not to be, unfortunately, Dan.
No, absolutely. Apologies for that. You were right. James Clark goes up the inside. So, 2.3 seconds between himself and Nick Clibbins. That is the gap at this moment in time. Michael Clough, like I said, you can tell there is what he wants, obviously, the position naturally, as you do. He wants that position back. Arthur Pandel, though, He's at the back of sort of another train as well. I think Sam Smith has just had a little bit of a moment. So what is it going to be? Yeah, he has just had a bit of a moment. Look at that. The number 227 is lost out on a position. So Arthur Panzel took no second invitation to slip up the inside there. And I'm sure Arthur look at this. Arthur Panzel and Ben Sharp. I wonder if these guys are going to work together. Or, actually, it didn't look like Arthur Panzel wanted to work together, to be perfectly honest with you. They might now, look at that. I think Arthur Panzel, instead of working together and trying to get through the field in both of them and then fighting later on, I think these guys just want to, they're going to be duking it out between themselves.
I mean, there's different arguments you can make as slotting in behind, because you both know your fast cars, you can try and make your way through the traffic together, or you get in front and hope that when you make a position on a car, your rival doesn't and gets held up in traffic, and that allows you to build the margins. So there's definitely two ways you could argue it, different ways you could approach it as one of the faster cars coming through the field on these reverse grid races. But, you know, if you want to get through, you just need to be committed and just make your intentions known with the moves more than anything else. And we're seeing that now from Adam Shepherd, able to get through, get up into 11th place. Good little battle in though, isn't it? James King trying to keep himself very, very honest, and to be fair to him, he's been having a good race of it as well. I think this is one of the first times we've seen James King really up there on the pace, showing a good tone of things, mixing it up with his other pro driver counterparts. This is it, though. Luke Cooper down the inside into Tarzan, late enough on the brakes. Are we going to see another moment? No, we're not going to see moments that we saw in the previous two races. Getting into the car in front onto the brakes. Gets instead a great judgment of the corner, able to take position, but look at this, they're going to try and bite it through. Couple of wheels onto the grass from the 23 from James King, looking for any advantage he can get, and oh my word, that's a late send into the corner, a late lunge. There is contact, and unfortunately the number 6 Luke Cooper really losing out on not just one place but maybe even 2, 3, 4 as the entire train decides to take advantage. Luke Cooper, after that little bit of moment, you afforded some space, but I think the space there, I don't know, maybe it lured in the car to make a move. Maybe it lured James King into thinking that there was space, and then it was closed off, and then it wasn't, and then they all just kind of got a bit confused with one another.
Yeah, exactly. Not ideal to a certain degree, but at the same time, though, that camera angle, it's very deceiving how these different camera angles can portray these different sort of moves. I mean, that looked actually, while there was contact, it looked clean. In the way of not necessarily contact clean, but it looked clean in terms of that was a fair move. But again, that's not our place to say. You know, this is what stewards potentially have a look at these instances as well. So we'll have to see. Robert Noble versus Shane Piggott, though. We get a bit of a love tap there from Michael Linscombe-Hatfield. So he's doing really well up there, currently in P6 overall, currently leading in class. So he's going to take a fair amount of points, because look at that. On the timing tower to the left-hand side, there is, well, the next AM isn't even in the top 20. The next AM is, in fact, in P21. So this is going to be a big point haul for Michael Linscombe-Hatfield. He is really making some moves up there, so fair play to him. Even if he loses a few more positions, possibly. So there's a fair few quick pros and quick
Chris Slater's going through on a move. Actually, no, I think Chris Slater's trying to get Michael Seal as well in the mix. Look at this battle in the background, Andy. Sorry to cut you off there. But no, there's contact here. And who was that gets around? That's Linscombe-Hatfield. Curse of the commentator strikes, but through no fault of his own, Linscombe-Hatfield finds himself parked up on the apex at Tarzan, and unfortunately can't get going. He can't afford to get moving, otherwise he'll cause an incident. And what does he just do? He gets it up and running, and I think there has been a moment with Linscombe-Hatfield and maybe Glenn Humberston. Unfortunately, Linscombe-Hatfield has lost out on a whole host of places. We're going to see, this was it, Glenn Humberston coming into the corner here. Oh yeah, and that's just, you can't really say any more. You've just seen exactly what's happened, haven't you?
Yeah, a bit of a shame. Obviously, she was be looking at that, but I don't get me wrong. I feel so bad for Michael Linscombe-Hatfield. Like, that's just the worst luck in the world, as you say, through no fault of his own either. What's going to happen here, though? Liam Stimson versus Lee Holmes. They're going to go side by side, coming down now into the second half of the circuit. Oh, there was a bit of contact. There was one of the another load of contact. Cars. Oh, that's not good. Teammates coming together. It's not what you want by any stretch of the imagination. But hopefully, both drivers, I think everyone gets going again. Yeah, they do. Although that has actually put that's pushed the grid down right up close to the guys behind. You've got Warren Messenger now versus Lee Holmes versus James Neve, and then Michael Linscombe-Hatsfield. So, yeah, it's got a bit of damage, admittedly. But I wonder if he can try and salvage some positions. He's still P3 overall in class, so he's not doing definitely something not to qualm over by any stretch of the imagination. But he was leading by a significant amount, and unfortunately, that is now not the case.
Yeah, but there's been some great drives. Adam Shepherd again coming up through the field very well. Currently in 8th position. What a drive that's been from himself, as Craig Cockrell is going to try and fend off a very quick Tom Griffiths. Both these cars have damage, and that is allowing Ashley Stimpson actually to come up through and involve himself maybe in the mix. Gets a good drive out of the corner as well. Does Ashley going to fight it too wide? Oh, is he going to be able to get through on Craig Cockrell? Yes, he is. Craig concedes the position and realizes that there's no sense fighting it with the damage that he has. He's therefore slot in behind, try and use the toe to mitigate his losses that he gets on the straight. That's the big thing. Getting in the slipstream can help you somewhat in keeping that top end speed. There or thereabouts the levels you're expecting, but it's just too much. You can see he's dropping back, losing out. Unfortunate for Craig Cockrell, as well as Ashley Stimpson makes short work of Tom Griffiths. It just shows, isn't it, how much the damage affects on a lap where you're flat out for quite a lot. You can see this Douglas Stewart in a bit of a tussle with the car in front. That is Craig McDonald. Craig just getting through actually just now. So what can he do to have an answer back? Have any sort of reply? Just doesn't seem to be able to have the grip. Look at his car. It's just not wanting to respond to him, is it, for Douglas Stewart? And he's losing out. And again, it's difficult to tell if he's also using a pad or not, because obviously, you know that Arthur Panzel, one of the Spicky Racing drivers, has it, and he drives in a very similar way. But the way that all of them drive, very, very not too dissimilar, are they? From what you expect to see from wheel inputs.
Yeah, well, it's you've got to. The thing with the MX5, you've really got to like wrestle the car into the corner. You've got to have rear rotation. You want the rear end to push. You want the rear end to rotate. As we got Michael Seal going to go round the outside, possibly of Robert Noble, but Robert Noble goes no. Oh, two cars don't go into one space. There may have been Netco that was involved in that. I'm sure we'll see a replay. We're definitely going to see a replay of that. Actually, I really want to see a replay, but unfortunate there between Michael Seal. I have a feeling that Michael Seal didn't really have anywhere to go. It's what it looked like from my side, although I'm not 100% sure. Again, anything can happen. I don't want to, until obviously we see everything. We've got the different camera angles that we can see. We've got Tom Griffiths going around the outside, possibly of Lee Holmes. And I think that is actually as well as James Neve. Apologies. So Tom Griffiths going
Tom Griffiths with damage. He's not able to have any replies. Look, you can just see the difference on this flat out section. He just doesn't have any reply, does he? And you can see James Neve going through for a move. This is Robert Noble coming back on the circuit. And this is, well, that's the onboard from Robert Noble's perspective, but we want to have a look, don't we, at what Michael Seal saw of it all and if there was anything he could have realistically done. So this is it coming into the corner. Seems to be fine for the moment, doesn't it? But then onto the exit. He's on the left-hand side of the circuit, opens up the steering wheel, and I think it just comes across the nose of his car. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's a big shame.
Stamping on the brakes, but you don't brake in acceleration zones.
Well, the things as well, you had that initial bit of contact, and obviously that point of reaction time. It's very, very tricky to. It's very tricky to react after that because you don't really know how to react. And it is indeed, apologies, checkered flag already. Nick Clibbins, look at that, just goes across the line. So Nick Clibbins taking the win. James Clark P2, Shane Piggott P3, Michael Clough in P4 with Chris Slater just behind in P5. Wow, that was very close between the two 500ths of a second. It's closer down a little bit more of the field as well. What it's going to be Ross Noble versus Anthony Beck for a drag race. I don't think Ross Noble's going to have the legs to get past him. No, he is not. Meanwhile, though, is Lee Holmes going to have the legs to get past Sam Smith? No, he's not either. Again, you'd have to be within like a tenth to have any sort of stretch of the imagination. This is going to be a possible chance though, because Colin Sampson versus Craig McDonnell. This is definitely going to be a drag race down the line. Who is it going to be? You're going to ride on board. You can just see out of the corner of your shot. Is it going to be? Do you know what? It might be Colin Sampson. Oh, it was Craig McDonald.
Oof.
Craig McDonald by 600th of a second.
mega stuff. Look at how close they are. And again, contact after the checkered flag into Tarzan. But what a lovely fight that was. But I can tell you, actually, Nick Clibbins, with that result, that's his first race victory of the season. Great drive from the number 13. We said that he would be hoping for a bit of luck to go his way, and that was certainly the case. But he capitalized on that fortune with a brilliant drive up at the front. No mistakes coming through from the driver of the number 13 MX5 for Simtech Racing. What a lovely result for Nick. He's been showing the ability to have these performances. He's just not been able to get them quite up across the line. But, well, he's a race winner the first time this season, and I'm sure he'll be very chuffed with that.
Absolutely. He will absolutely be chuffed with that. So good stuff indeed. Yeah, and hopefully we can have more of that next time around as well. But till then, Ed, we know what time it is.
It's time for the wheel.
It is time for the wheel. Can we make it? Can we make it 3 out of 3? I almost
Can
hope
say
we don't.
If it lands on a full, are we gonna? We might have to do some changes.
I think we may spin again if it lands on a full.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But for now, it will spin, won't it, Dan? And where's it going to land?
It's not going to be a full. It's a top 14. Just.
Oh, no, you can hear that. Can you hear that? I think all of the drivers here breathe a sigh of relief.
I mean, yeah. There we go. So, top 14 is your reverse grid. So, I mean, that's actually, it's spicing things up in a way. It's almost like the complete opposite end of the scale, because you had an entire reverse grid. Now you've now got the top 14. So almost less than half of the grid now is being reversed. That's going to shake things up. It's still going to shake things up at the bottom. It's also going to shake things up at the top as well. So, do you know what? This almost plays a bit more into the I don't know what's going to happen to a degree, because you know what's happened with the reverse grid, but there's almost more uncertainty here.
Well, one thing is for certain, and that is, hopefully, the finishing results. And they will be up on your screens now, and we can run you through the confirmed order for this third race of the evening. Nick Clibbins takes his first race victory of the season ahead of James Clark in second place. Good drive from Swift Cooper Esports driver. Shane Piggott comes through into third ahead of Michael Clough, Chris Slater, Adam Shepherd. Another brilliant drive up through the field. And Michael Seal and Andy McEwen up into the 8th place. Dane Sharp in 9th. And Arthur Pansel completes your top 10. 11th place sees Adam Fox ahead of James King, Luke Cooper, and Anthony Beck. 14th place will be pole position for the final race of the evening. Just missing out Robert Noble in 15th. That's where he'll be starting this final race of the evening, along with Ashley Stimpson in 16th, Sam Smith and Lee Holmes 17th and 18th. 19th, we'll see the number 7 of James Neve ahead of Tom Griffiths, Michael Linscombe Hatfield, Craig Cockrell, and Jeremy Scott, with Craig McDonald, Colin Sansom, Douglas Stewart, Warren Messenger, and Julian Schroer. They're in 28th position. 29th will then go the way of, if it will appear for us, sometimes it takes a while, Jason Cooper. Unfortunately, after Curse of the Commentator struck him, he just wasn't able to get back into it, and I think he saw him up in 20th place. I think he had, unfortunately, a little bit more bad luck going his way. He's now in 29th ahead of Liam Stimpson and Glenn Humberstone was the first of the non-finishing drivers, 2 laps down, along with Simon Robson, Hina Krayeveld, Luke Grunman, Nick Postons, Thomas Burlings, and Stephen Cox. Unfortunately, not making it to the end of the first lap. The Rust Bucket Racing team entry. But that is all of the drivers who finished or didn't finish the third race of the evening. All that's left to do is try and see, are there any drivers coming through for a chat to us, Dan, before we get started the coverage of this final race of the evening? And you know what? We do have this man. Let's bring him in. Nick Clibbins joins us in the commentary box, after taking his first race victory of the season. Great drive, Nick. You've got to be very pleased with that.
Yeah, very pleased with that. It was a difficult one just to try and stay ahead, really.
Yeah, we said it at the start. It was almost going to be a curse of the commentator for you, but you haven't really had the best of luck this season. But it's finally good to see you get some form of benefit of that. And as soon as you get the chance, you seize it with both hands, don't you?
You're right. Yeah, yeah. It has been great this season. I've had a few tussles and not come out very well on them, but yeah, I thought I'm going to go for this one. It's my favourite circuit, so it's shown.
Yeah, it really is. And thankfully, there's only a 14 reverse next time out. So is there a chance to see you move back up through the order, fight for a podium, maybe fight for the race victory again?
Well, I try my best. I try and keep the car pointing the right way anyway. It's usually my the commentator's curse. I usually spin.
Well, that's usually the first step to coming through. We actually had a look at the first lap. I think was that you actually getting quite loose actually coming out of one of the corners there. You almost had a few moments where it might not have gone your way, but you still held firm. And tell you what, how does it feel to take your first race victory of the season?
It feels good. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long time coming.
It really has, mate. It's been great to see you coming through and developing as a driver as well. As that something you found from your time in BSR?
Oh, definitely. It's made a massive improvement. Just the driving standards are good as well, so it allows you to push a bit harder.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, this is your favourite circuit, but in a week's time we go to Mount Panorama. Is that another circuit that you enjoy?
Second favourite, so hopefully some more good luck.
Right, you're going to be absolutely buzzing then after these next 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll see you getting a trip to the top step at Bathurst, but if not, congratulations, mate. And if you have any shout-outs to get through, well, the floor is yours, mate.
Oh, yeah, shout out to obviously the Simtat lads, then the Gatton boys, obviously good mates. Yeah, and obviously the family for allowing me to race on the evenings.
That's the most important part, being allowed to race. And yeah, you obviously, without them, you wouldn't have been able to take the race victory. So it's as much theirs as yours, mate. Great job, as always. And we'll hope to see you do very well in the fourth and final race.
I will try.
So, everybody, that was Nick Clibbins coming through to take the race victory. Quite a popular race victory. We're already seeing the congratulations pouring in for him on the Discord. What a drive it was from him, though. When he got into the front, he didn't look likely to lose out.
No, I think as well. Like there was a small, obviously, little moment which you just saw on the replay there. But apart from that, that was it. I mean, like I said, it was pretty much nothing apart from that. So good stuff indeed from Nick Clibbins. And yeah, I mean, only a top 40 reverse grid. So he's only will be starting in P14. So he's got an opportunity here to make another good move out of it, because he has got a few people up ahead of him. But he's got Ben Sharp as well. He's going to be starting quite far up the field. Michael Seal, you've got Shepherd as well. So there are lots of people that are starting ahead. Although the pace that Clibbins had, that's probably given us some confidence going into the final round.
I mean, we saw it in qualifying, didn't we? The pace of all of these top drivers are really quite close. What was it, the top 20 or top 16 were all separated by, what was that, a second? So we're going to be in for, I think, more of the same, very close race. And the slipstream, of course, allows you to keep it nice and close. But honestly, I cannot wait to get it started for the fourth and final race of the evening. And I'm sure you're the same, Dan, so we'll quickly hop over into the next server and get started with all of the action to come here on Absolute Sim Racing. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you all in just a little bit. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Absolute Sim Racing for the final race of the evening here at Zandvoort. Doesn't time fly, Dan?
Oh, it does indeed when you're having fun. You are absolutely right. Yes. With the top 14 reverse grid, I think this is again going to be a little bit interesting. It's going to throw some different things in the mix from the full reverse grids that we've seen, but it's not going to give us any less in terms of action.
Yeah, see, I'm having a look. I've got my little back end points that I can have a look at and see who's been the top drivers from the past 3 races of the evening. I can tell you that Adam Shepherd is actually top of the pile, getting 254 points so far this evening, just ahead of Andy McEwen, who is the second best driver, best of the Prams, 247 points to his name. So Andy's been having a really good meeting, just what he needed as well after obviously missing the racing at Catalonia. I was talking to him earlier just a few days ago, and he said that he was actually not too upset that he missed Catalonia because he doesn't like the track too much, and he was also enjoying not having the pressure of being Pro-Am Championship leader. But maybe after this round he might not be too happy to know that he's still going to have that pressure right back on him, because he's closing back to all those drivers up in front. Having a look at some of the standings actually as well, as they are obviously without all of the penalties that could happen and all of the other things in the background. Ben Sharp still on the top, ahead of Jason Cooper, but Andy McEwen, he's had a big jump up. He came into this round, where was he? I think he was down in 15th or 14th place, but has now found himself 9th in the overall standings, so he's definitely shot back up the order. Don't know what he's been doing, because I've been trying to praise him all evening, hoping that the curse of the commentator will strike him, but he's just too good. He's just doing too well for himself.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think he's going to be seeing it quite like that, but yeah, look at that, he's P2 on the grid. So I think he's not going to be complaining of that either, is he?
No, he certainly won't. I'm not sure if he is P2 on the grid, because I think we've got the practice results up on the screens, not the grid results. So
we do indeed. Here we are.
Put that back up. Here we can see Anthony Beck, Luke Cooper, James King, Adam Fox, Arthur Pansel, Ben Sharp, Andy McEwen, Michael Seal, Adam Shepherd, and Chris Slater completing your top 10. Michael Clough and Shane Piggott 11th and 12th. 13th, we'll see James Clark ahead of Nick Clibbins, Robert Noble, Ashley Stimpson, Sam Smith, Lee Holmes, James Griffiths, Michael Hatford, Craig Cockrell, Jeremy Scott, and Craig McDonald. And the last ones we'll be able to flash you up there. The final few drivers. Last page, and then we can get back up to the grid, because the cars are all starting to line up. Anthony Beck and Luke Cooper from the front. What can they manage here into turn 1? Luke Cooper, you know, they're hungry for a race victory. As the lights go on, the engine notes begin to rise, and the first race gets underway. Good getaway that from Luke Cooper. Will it be enough to challenge into the first corner? And can Anthony Beck hold him off? You can see them, they're going to start fighting it 2 by 2. They go into the first corner around the outside. 77 car's going to try and hold it, but down the inside. What a dive that was from Luke Cooper, muscling his way through, getting the advantage, getting the run out as well. That's all important. Anthony's going to fight, try and find the space through, fighting it through turns 2 and 3. Car off of the road. The 23 car, does it collect? Oh, for a moment I thought it was going to rejoin and collect the 24 of Ben Sharp, but I think he gets through that nice and safely. However, Ben Sharp has his own little moment there. And oh my word, there's a car spinning around. Adam Fox having difficulties there. You can see just coming out of turn 4 with certainly something going on there. And that is actually a moment in the background. That's one of the Simtech racing cars having a big moment.
That's
Not
Nick
sure
Clibbins.
who that was. That was
Clibbins.
Clibbins. No, race 3 Victor not having the luck this time. I think he used it all up to get his race victory, and now he finds himself down the order, unfortunately. But what a fast and frenetic first lap this has been, and it's not even over and done with yet. Luke Cooper still leads from Anthony Beck, but in the background it's anyone's guess, isn't it, as they see cars going 2 wide, 3 wide, whichever how many wide they want to try and make it as Zandvoort. Oh, again, another impact into the wall from one of the cars behind. I'm not sure who that was. That looked like... Oh,
no, Colin Sampson,
sure.
I think. Colin Sampson.
Colin Sampson into the wall. Another Year 1 TV car in some trouble. We already saw Adam Fox earlier on have a moment. Colin Sampson, I think, is the next driver to encounter the walls. Look at this though. Liam Stipson down in third place for Simtech Racing, closing in behind, getting a bit of a snap on the exit of the second to last corner. And there's a slide up in front. He's going to dive to the inside to avoid it.
Ooh.
Hopefully not get collected. But
No, he does.
I think the domino effect has taken out quite a few cars there.
It has indeed, unfortunately. Let's have a quick look at that. I think there was just too much going on there, so we're going to have to go back to that in a second. Let's just have a look. Julian Schroer again. Apologies for the fact it's in slow motion. There we go. Oh, it's a little bit. It's actually a little bit further. Oh, God, not good, is it? Not good at all. It all just goes wrong. Further and further down the order. Is this going to be... No, it happens again, actually further up. It happens further up, and I'm just trying to... that is just carnage, isn't it? Absolute carnage.
Oh, my word. So it's all kicking off earlier on and further back, and all it takes, isn't it? Like one simple push, and one by one, like dominoes, they all just seem to fall down and fall off the circuit. But we're not seeing that at the moment. Up front, are we? With these top drivers, the top 4, top 5, top 10, all roughly there or thereabouts, close to one another. Look at that. The back shot from Anthony Beck. Adam Shepard is looking for any way he can through, but that little send has opened the door wide for Arthur Panzel to go for a move, and there's contact. Both of them collide, spin around, and Andy McEwen, like Moses himself, parts the waters, parts the MX5s, and comes through into the podium places. And Jason Cooper as well, he keeps his foot flat to the floor, and he finds himself gaining a whole host of positions. Could even go for a move, thinks better of it, decides to manage his expectations into the Audi S. Jason Cooper finally having some good fortune, but I'm not going to try and praise him too much, not big him up, because last time I did that, well, we saw him in the wall.
I was about to say, you've got to be careful there, Red, this time around. But no, Jason Cooper, I mean, he's up 21 positions. So I'm going to say, can gamble and say that he's doing very, very well indeed. He's also set purple sector in Sector 2 and Sector 3. So he's really a man on the mission at the moment. Oh, I'm sure that was a bit of contact there. I am sure there was contact between himself and Chris Slater. So there is the move made, done and dusted. Again, a little bit further down the field. Who's that? I believe that is going to be...
Oh, there's contact between Slater and Clark, I think. Ooh. And I think that's both of them out. We just cut away from it at, well, probably the worst time as the contact happened into Tarzan. We're going to see a replay of it. See James Clark there, the 94. Look at how late he gets on the brakes. But it's the smallest of touches.
There's a bit of a check-up there, unfortunately. There was a little bit of a check-up, just as fraction between himself and Chris Slater. I think Chris Slater, just got on the brakes just to try and get the car to turn it a little bit more to the right. No! 3 cars not going into one space, unfortunately. That's a big shunt. Ashley Stimson getting caught up in that, as well as Chris Slater. Contacted. Gone from bad to worse his race, unfortunately. So that's definitely going to be putting him a little bit down the order. Not something that
Adam Shepard down the order. What's happened to him?
Let's have a quick look, actually. I'm not entirely sure what has happened with Adam Shepard. We're going to have a quick look. He did
actually, no, we saw it. That was actually, the moment that we saw earlier, wasn't it? My mistake. It was coming through, I think, this corner here, wasn't it?
Yes. Very, very true. Yeah, as you see, yes. Indeed. So, interestingly enough, so the person that did part ways... I wonder if there was a bit of contact there as well. I was just having a quick look. There may very well have been. Interesting stuff. Let's just have a quick look on...
An onboard shot from McEwen as the incident happens. We just saw the tail end of it here. We'll have another look.
I think I may have gone a bit too far back now.
I think we have.
That's not good at all, is it? We definitely don't want this. Let's just try it once more, and then we have to go back to the action that we've got. Oh, there's a bit of contact.
I don't know. You can see the flash of the brake lights. There's one load of braking, then a lift, and then another load of braking from Panzel in front. And with all the cars so close together, there's bound to be a little bit of contact, that's for certain. But I don't know. Andy could argue that two ways. He can argue that the car in front broke early, then got off the brakes, and then got on the brakes again. 2 braking movements can catch out drivers into corners, of course. But then also... I don't know, when it's like that always happens. The first driver to get looked at is the driver behind, because it usually seems to have caused the incident. We'll see, of course, what the stewards make of it, but what we can make of it is just what a great race that this has been, and we've made of that. What a move by Andy McEwen, committed No little half sends there. Fully down the inside. Up into second place goes Andy McEwen. Can he close down, though, the margin between himself and Luke Cooper? That's the real question. Luke with around about 3.5 seconds margin to second place. But down the inside, Ben Sharp's going to go for a move as well. Is he going to get it stick? I think his run out the corner is just enough to hold back Anthony Beck for the moment. But the slipstream is working well for the 77. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? If Beck can keep his car there, he'll be able to have the inside for the next corner, but chooses to concede the position, slot in behind, and maybe worry a bit more about the car behind the 61 of Michael Seal, that we've seen in the walls a fair bit, you'll have to say. We've found his car with a bit of damage, with a bit of contact as well, but he'll be hoping for a nice, good, clean finish to the evening. And he's sitting, of course, in 6th place. Jason Cooper, what can he do as well? You'll know that he'll want to have a good race. You'll know that he's going to be hungry for points to try and claw back anything he can from his main championship rival, Ben Sharp. Look at this, down through Tarzan they go. What a move that would be from Jason Cooper if he's able to get it around the outside, which he has done. The number 1 car, seeming like he could be driving as if he was a championship leader at the moment. It's just not been the best of evenings, though, has it, from Jason Cooper after a great showing at Catalunya? The luck just hasn't gone his way.
No, it's a bit of a shame, actually, to be fair. Oh, dear, that's, I believe that's Craig McDonnell's car. That's definitely seen better days. Yeah, not the best of, not the best round. It's such a shame as well, because, like I said, pace is definitely there. It's just that I can, and 100%, go with the, understand the frustration, I'm sure, that's going through his head. Meanwhile, I believe that's actually Jason Cooper, speaking of which, another good position that he's made there. He's just gone up the inside of Anthony Beck, caught the tail end of that. Andy McEwen is very close to Ben Sharp, and also, obviously, Ben Sharp, you can see just the road. Look at that. I wonder when Ben Sharp is going to make a move. It's not going to be an if, it's going to be a when. And I think the when is coming sooner rather than later. My money's on going through into turn 1, although actually thinking about it, it might be now. There's going to be a last-minute move up to the inside. I don't think there will be. Do you know what, Ben? He's smart enough. He'll wait. He's got the position. He's got no one really behind him. Obviously, Jason Cooper, I think he's far back enough that it's not going to affect him too much. And I just have a feeling that it's just going to be Ben. They may try and work together. I think that, actually, do you know what? They're not catching up. Luke Cooper's sort of sailing away with it at the moment.
I reckon what Ben Sharp is going to want to do is get ahead of Andy as soon as he can to have that buffer between himself and his main rival, Jason Cooper. And I think we're going to see exactly that. Down the inside, Ben Sharp is going to go, and I don't know, is Andy going to fight it, or will he drop back behind and try and hold on to the podium places? Jason Cooper's going to look, maybe try and pick up the scraps down on the inside. Andy McEwen affords plenty of space, doesn't he, to Ben along the inside, and instead focuses on getting a good run out of the corner, couple of onto the gravel, but I think he's done just enough. Oh no! A bit of contact there between himself and Jason Cooper. Andy McEwen, is he able to get it back on the circuit just in 4th place? Yes, he is. What a save that was from Andy. Just getting through in front of Lee Holmes, but again, his car is really out of shape. Has there been damage dealt to his car? That's going to be his main concern for the moment.
Well, possibly. I mean, he's getting already hassled by Lee Holmes. You can see there the gap is very, very close. We'll have to see when it comes through down the next. This just big MX5, essentially, 4 cars all so very close together. I think, do you know what? Andy McEwen's already pulled just a fraction of a gap on from Lee Holmes. So I think that gap is extending enough that it's not going to be too much of an issue. Anthony Beck was actually a person that did have a little bit of an off. So this is, again, contact just came across, I think, ever so slightly. And unfortunately, just caught the rear quarter of, trying to think who that car was. That was a 4040 racing car, I believe. So, yes, not good at all. I'm just going to have a quick look. Do you know what? I'm going to quickly sit on board with this, because this is a bit of a battle here, but I really want to have a look at what happened with James Clark, because I think he made 2 positions. And as I say that, he's now dropped 2 positions again. So it's been a bit of an interesting one to have a look at. And I'll tell you what, let's have a quick look at it now, because this battle has seen, for the moment at least, to sort itself out for a brief few moments. So let's have a quick look at what goes on with James Clark.
Oh, so there's a little bit of contact from the two cars in front, and Jason Clark takes full advantage, doesn't he? Gets the better run out of the corner. They're going 3 wide, though, into the LDS, and that's nothing that you want to see at all. Look at the two cars, though, squabbling with one another. Oh, they just seem to take each other out. Amazing awareness, though, by James Clark to get through that unscathed. That is the main factor, is that he got through that nicely and cleanly, because that so easily could have been his race completely just done there.
It could indeed. You know what I want to see? This is going to be close. I want to see how close. I believe that was Jeremy
You can hear the
Scott's car.
contact, can't you?
You can hear it just in the background. It's just gradual. Just there you go. There's another bit there. But I want to see how close James Clark got. This is going to be very, very. He's going to need a new suit, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's going to need a new suit, virtual or not. That was a very, very well, as you say, well avoided. Although it didn't look like he actually really anticipated the avoidance needed there. He just looked like he did and just sort of didn't actually expect it. I know I wouldn't have done. So yeah, a little bit interesting there.
Yeah, I will say I've not raced in anger on iRacing for the best part of about a couple of months now, but still the sound of the contact that the cars makes gives me a fight or flight response, especially when the contact isn't happening to me, it's happening around me, because that sort of makes me more worried. Like, oh my god, what's happening? What am I going to see? What's around me? And when you're on singles like I am, you
Tricky,
don't have any idea, do you? It's very tricky, but. What's going to be tricky, I think, is this battle here between Michael Seal just ahead of Tom Griffiths. What we're going to see these cars doing to get through nice and safely, nice and quickly. Or a bit of argy-bargy here between Craig McDonald and Michael Clough. Michael down the inside into the left-hander they go. And is he going to get the run out of the corner? You can see maximising all of the exit there from Craig. And now he's going to try and fight it back into the LDS. He's got the run. He's got a little bit less damage to his car, which is helping his acceleration, his top end. But Michael is going to fight it down the inside. It'll afford a bit of space on the inside, but just comes through, gets the run, carries the momentum forward. This is definitely not over yet, though. And not over yet is this fight for 4th place. Andy McEwen trying to fend off a very quick Lee Holmes. And I think Lee is just going to be able to get this move done as he sweeps it around the outside. Then takes the inside line. McEwen carries a lot of speed, runs very wide, but carrying the momentum means he's going to get a good drive out of the corner. And then on this slipstream, we've seen him before make a move down the inside, haven't we? Up the hill they go. Now he's going to go to the left, tap of the brakes to try and avoid contacting. Again, forced slightly with a bit of a twitch on, but he's able to contain it there or thereabouts. And I think coming through, just losing out on the position to Lee Holmes. But I think now that it's Andy's turn in the slipstream, we might see him close back and try and take that position again. As I say that, though, look at Tom Griffiths. He's going to look for a move down the inside. Andy McEwen having none of it, carrying the speed, sweeping through around the outside, holding for the moment in 5th. This battling is giving Lee Holmes some breathing space, though.
Well, it's exactly what he needs, isn't it? The more breathing space that he can get, the better, as we see again. Who is it going to be? It is Tom Griffiths versus Michael Seal. He's going to be last of the late breakers. It is Tom Griffiths that's last of the late breakers, but can Michael Seal hold it around the outside? No, he cannot. And he now slots back and drops back a position. So Andy McEwen now is the next man in sight for Tom Griffiths, although there's not actually that much time left to go. We're going to go through. Do you know what? This is actually the last lap.
It's crept up on us, hasn't it? But we are going to see a Swift Cooper Esports 1-2. Luke Cooper comes through to take the race victory here. Great drive from himself, taking his first race victory of the season, would you believe, for Luke Cooper. So a brilliant drive. Jason Cooper, his teammate, and I believe brother will join him on the podium. Ben Sharp comes through in 3rd place. Lee Holmes was able to take 4th place and keep it ahead of Andy McEwen, but it was a drag race to the line for 5th place. Tom Griffiths just missing out on 5th. With Michael Seal there behind in 7th, Sam Smith 8th, James Neave 9th. So we see all of the other drivers making their way up across the line. 2 Simtech Racing cars. Nick Clibbins with a hefty amount of damage right up behind Ashley Stimpson. And as they come across, yep, you can see them both, 21st and 22nd. So to see, though, Ashley Stimpson not have the same run of form that we saw at Catalonia, because as an Audi driver, we were talking about him getting moved up to pro or even Pro-Am, but it seems that maybe it was just a circuit he was really quite good at and hasn't been able to carry that same sort of pace, that same momentum at quite a different circuit in Zandvoort.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But then, swings and roundabouts for everyone. It's one of those things, as you say. It's always one of those things. And I'm sure that they'll just have a bit of a regroup. He'll come back next round. He'll come back sort of with a few sort of different ideas, different testing strategies possibly, and he'll hit next week nice and aggressively. So I'm sure he will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably say this, but great to see two drivers getting their first race victories of the season. Luke Cooper getting his first race victory. What a drive that was from him, going through to take a race victory. The final race of the evening here at Zandvoort. What race it was as well? 4 different race victors across all 4 races. Luke Cooper coming through to take the race victory, making it Swift Cooper Esports 1-2 ahead of Jason Cooper, with Ben Chubb rounding out the podium. Lee Holmes is 4th, takes the Pro-Am class victory, with Andy McEwen in 5th. Andy McEwen coming into the top 10 in every single race this evening, doing very well for his Pro-Am Championship hopes, with Tom Griffiths in 6th. Michael Seal completing the Pro-Am podium in 7th, ahead of Sam Smith, James Neve, and Arthur Panzel. 11th place yet again, and another AM class victory for Pino Crayeveld. The 88 Tech orange car having a very good debut, it has to be said, with I think a couple of AM class victories to his name. Ahead of James Clark in 12th, Douglas Stewart and Adam Shep there in 14th. Nick Postens, Adam Fox, Shane Piggott, and Fiona Siddons. 19th place then, we will see Anthony Beck and Michael Clough, Ashley Stimpson, Nick Clibbins. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to carry on that great run of form from his 3rd race into the 4th, but he did finish ahead of Glenn Humberston in 23rd, Julian Shaw in 24th, and Craig Lord in 25th. Colin Sampson last of the finishing drivers, scoring points 1 lap down. Then we come to the non-finishers, of course. Quite a few of them actually in this final race. Definitely drivers trying everything they can do to get the most. Evening, Jamie Scott and Chris Slater, 27th and 28th, both non-finishing. And then we do have a few more as well. You can see them all down there. Several drivers caught up in early race tussles, and that was probably the moment we saw down coming onto the start-finish straight. But we do have some drivers here coming for post-race interviews. And let's kick it off, shall we, with the fastest woman in BSR. Fiona Siddons joins us in the comms box. And Fiona, welcome. That was a good race from you, especially at the end of the evening, back in, I think, one of your higher finishes in 18th place.
Yeah, that was a good race. 37th on the grid, right at the back to 18th. That was very good.
It was a... Sorry, go on.
If the rest of the night had gone like that, I'd have been happy.
Well, still, you finish off very well, and that's a good thing. That keeps you momentum into the next round at Bathurst, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be an interesting circuit.
Yeah, I think Bathurst might be more about survival, especially in the little midfield battles that you find yourself in quite often, Fiona. So hopefully we'll see you coming through nice and cleanly. Cleanly probably hasn't been the story of the evening, though, at Zandvoort, has it?
No, it's been my worst night. I got my first non-finish of the season tonight, so I suppose one had to come sooner or later.
Yeah, but you're still there or thereabouts in the AM Championship, I believe. I think you're the 2nd best AM driver, just behind Ashley Stimpson. So you could still be in with a good shout come the end of the season.
That's better than what I thought.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to be 2nd in AM time.
Having a very good, clean, consistent race, good consistent season so far, Fiona. So congratulations to you for that. And before we say goodbye to you and look forward to seeing you in the next race next week at Bathurst, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, you and Dan for the great stream again. Everybody at Matthews Logistics and everybody in the back of sorting all the series out and making it happen.
Well, thank you very much, Fiona. We try our best to build up more and more as each round goes by. So your kind words are always appreciated.
Yeah, see you next week.
See you, Fiona. Take care. And with that, we can have a word with a newcomer to the series, Pino Cryavelt. Pino, welcome to the Comms Box. It's been a very hectic debut. You've had 2 AM-class victories and a non-finish. So how was that from your perspective?
Yeah, the third race it was quite hectic at the start because I was starting in the midfield due to a spin in the second race and reverse grid. So I got involved into a crash which cost me 20 kph on the top speed of my car, which made me obviously quite a bit slower on the laps.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, it was a great race from you. And was this maybe what you were hoping for when you made your debut here at Zandvoort?
Yeah, it was. It's obviously my home race because I'm Dutch. I live 10 minutes off the track. So it's quite good to win at this track since I have a history here. I came here since like I'm a little kid, so it's good to win here.
Have you had any chance to drive the circuit in real life around here? Is this just a track you've really driven on sim before, by the way, mate?
Yes, I did. Not the older track, only the new one, the renewed one for the Formula 1 in a BMW 325i Group A.
So a good bit of kit. And how, just to get your insight on it, how does the circuit differ? Because from my knowledge, there's definitely a lot more camber on some of the corners.
Yeah, it's in the third corner. There's a lot of camber. You can go in quite hard and you go high into the corner to get the most of the speed to the run to Schijfvlak. And the last corner, it's crazy how much camber there is. It's comparable to Daytona. It's crazy. You can go flat out in any car, rain or dry, it doesn't really matter anymore.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to see you here making your debut. And are we going to see more of you this season? Are you going to try and take it through until the end?
Yeah, I will. I sadly can't be there next round, but for all the other rounds, I'll try to be there and get consistent points for the rest of the season.
So we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Tsukuba. So, shame to see you missing out on Bathurst, but maybe that'll be for the best. The barriers do like to bite back, so we'll hopefully see you in 2 weeks, Pino.
Yeah, I hope so. I will be there at Tsukuba, so I hope I can take some points there.
No problem. But before we say goodbye to you as well, is there anybody you would like to shout out here on Absolute Sim Racing?
Yeah, I will. I will shout out my team for the service they provide me to get this result I did today. Some friends of mine which helped me train for this event, and yeah, obviously you guys for the stream. It was quite good to see.
Thank you very much, Pino. We always appreciate kind words from directed towards us. It makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, it's all the same for everyone.
No worries. Thank you very much, Pino, and best of luck in 2 weeks' time, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.
So that was Pino Cryavelt, driver and debutant this evening, having a very good race, you have to say. And then finally, but no means leastly, we can bring in Andy McEwen. And well, after an evening like that, surely you got to be pleased. Taking, I think it was 2 Pro-Am class victories, finishing in the top 10 all evening long, and bagging to, I think, a couple of podiums as well, mate.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mixed night, to be honest. I had some bits of it which I was really, really happy with, but then there were a couple of moments where I just, I don't know, I think someone stuck something underneath my brake pedal on a couple of occasions, because my car just, at the worst possible moment, would decide, nah, don't fancy slowing down for this first gear hairpin on this occasion, and I just ran into, I think it was it Stephen or Robert in race 2? I did the same thing to Arthur in that last one as well, so yeah, that wasn't my finest moment, but yeah, another really strong night in general.
Yeah, definitely. And you were actually, I think, the second best driver of the evening, if my memory serves right. I'll just have a refresher of the stats page and try and figure it out. But actually, maybe you came out on top. I'm just trying to find it out for you, mate. Actually, no, I can tell you, you're the best driver out of everyone else.
No way.
You scored the most amount of points. So, yeah, you did. 325 points. to Ben Sharp, who scored 319. So I think this is probably the first time you've ever come out on top for a meeting.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, mate, that probably means you're going to get bumped up to pro.
Oh God, I hope not. I really hope not. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I think Ben must have had some bad luck then at some point, because he beat me in 2 of the races, I think, including that last one. Stupidly, I let Ben go in the last one, thinking I could keep up with him, and then I couldn't. I should have known better than to think I could keep up with Ben Sharp, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, wow, I'm a bit speechless about that. I did not expect that.
Yeah, but actually, you've just reminded me of something. And obviously, you've commentated on Ben Sharp and a lot of these drivers from real life commentating. How is it like commentating on these drivers and then getting on in the sim with them on the Tuesdays?
Absolutely terrifying, because you can be certain that at some point I've said something about each and every one of them that they didn't like. So can you imagine the size of the target on my back? It's no, do you know what? It's good fun, actually, and me and Tom Griffiths especially, we've had some good battles as well, and I know him well from his Compact Cup days, so it's kind of nice actually that, you know, now, especially now that I'm sort of keeping up with them ish and having some nice wheel-to-wheel battles with them, you know, maybe it's yeah, we can sort of share. I can share my racing stories with them now, rather than it being the other way around. So it's actually really nice. And as daft as it sounds, the amount of MX5 races that I've commentated on over the years, I do think it's actually helped me when it comes to racecraft and picking your battles and knowing how the slipstream works, because I've commentated on hundreds of real-world MX5 races, and it's it's funny the things you pick up.
Yeah, it is, and maybe that's the reason why you're doing so well, mate. And also probably having a competitive advantage, watching them all race for so long, you're able to pick up a few things on how they race, how they battle, and you can use it to your advantage, mate.
Picking up is that I've still got a little bit to learn yet, but you know, it's going pretty well. You know, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far. This is certainly an improvement on last season, that's for sure.
One thing I've got to say, though, is that you disappoint me. I was praising you all evening, thinking that the curse of the commentator would strike you, but it seems that you've got some sort of immunity to that.
I don't deserve, because I have a knack for putting the mockers on drivers all the time, so yeah.
Exactly, mate. You've got to sort that out at some point, but thank you very much, Andy. Hopefully we can see you in a week's time at Bathurst, mate.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. Never driven the track on iRacing, but I mean, it's one of the classics, isn't it? So it should be good.
I'd put a lot of practice in. I would definitely start practicing now, and maybe you'll be up to speed, because that is a very hard circuit on iRacing, I can tell you.
Really busy and never at home then, isn't it?
Yeah, good thing that. No problem, Andy. Good to have you in the Coles box. And, well, before we say goodbye to you, is there anybody you would like to shout out here on Absolute Sim Racing?
Oh, well, let's see. It was my dogs a couple of weeks ago. It was, what was it last time? Oh, the fan, which is still working overtime, by the way. I haven't thanked my gecko yet, so there we go. Thank you for cheering me on, Norbert, my gecko, who has absolutely no interest in racing, but, you know, I'll give him a shout-out anyway.
Is it one of them little leopard geckos?
It is, yeah, the cute.
Oh, good taste. Good taste, mate. Very, very pleased with that. We'll hopefully see you and maybe Norbert in a week, mate. Take care.
I'll try and get him to make a cameo, yeah. See you then.
See you, mate. Take care. That was Andy McEwen joining us in the comms box. And with that, I think that's all the time we have for this evening, Dan. It's a shame to say goodbye to these MX5s, but it will only be for a week before we come back to Bathurst.
Indeed, Bathurst up next, and well, I mean, to be fair, there's nothing much to say about Bathurst, is there really? It's the most terrifying track on the planet, or at least one of the most terrifying tracks on the planet. I think it's actually more scary to drive. I feel more comfortable around the Nordschleife, to be fair, than I do with Bathurst, but that's just my own personal opinion. MX trials in here are going to be insane, more so than we've seen before, and that's just going to, you think as well, the toe that people are going to get down going through the chase. Oh, can you just imagine it? Imagine 6, 7, 25 MX5s all sideways on lap 1. Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
It'll be absolutely amazing. We commentated, wasn't it, just a few days ago on Radicals around there.
We did.
But with 40 Mazda MX5s, that'll be something else for sure. And honestly, I cannot wait. And I'm sure all of you watching cannot wait. So if you want to, make sure that you're subscribed to Absolute Sim Racing. Make sure you've given the stream a like, and if you've been racing tonight and you want to share it with all your friends, that would be greatly appreciated. Or If you're not racing, if you're just enjoying all the battling here with no affiliation to any of the drivers, well, give it a share and maybe even get involved. Obviously, I think there are still a few places left on the grid, but with the popularity of this series is proving, they are filling up very quickly. And all that's left to say from myself, and probably from yourself as well, Dan, is goodbye, take care, and stay safe, and we'll see you all in a week's time. Goodbye.